Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob, live from Nash Con 2019. Woohoo!
And we are back. Nash Con 2019 coming in your eye holes and your ear holes.
This is Mr. Jacob Berry of the Berry family.
Soon to be an actual family.
They're actually my Berry Best.
Oh.
Berry Best. Berry Best friends. So Jacob, it's very nice to have you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, Rob.
I'm very excited to be here. So we're live in the heartland of the US of A. Is that correct?
This is the Bible Belt.
Ooh.
This is definitely the heartland. Everyone in the South calls us the South. Everyone in the Midwest calls us the Midwest. Coming out of Nashville, Tennessee.
All right. I'm very excited to be here. We're here for a 64-person Age of Sigmar match play event. It's very exciting. There's some interesting things that we're going to get to in a minute about the structure of how the players have got the pack. But just first off, I just want to say hi, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Hi.
I'm going to introduce you to everyone else who's working. So we have Colin, who's going to be our button-pushing hero at the moment.
What a champ.
What a champ. And then our table boss, Mr. John Scrivens, the Scrivo himself.
He's bossy in a lot of other ways.
Whether or not he'll make it to day 2 is still to be confirmed, but as always, we'll keep track of that.
I give it a 5 up.
And for the chat, I want to say hello to everyone. JJ, and Luvo, LLV, Canada, that's right, Greco. I'm pretty certain I saw Mr. Canhammer himself, Darren. I just want to say thank you for the hat and thank you for the medical care and restarting my heart last Monday.
And I've done everything I can to stop it, but I still haven't been able to.
So join us for 5 games of match play Age of Sigmar over this weekend, which is really exciting.
Thanks for the subscription, JJ Number 10.
Number 10, but he's subscribed for 7 months, so...
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's almost enough to kill an entire Ragnarok just by kneecapping him.
Yeah, so close.
So close.
So close.
I'm no mathematician, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to say 87.5% of the way to being able to just kill an Ragnarok based on its shins.
Also, can we all just talk about how much of a sellout I am right now? Like, I've got a Canhammer hat. I've got a Rage of Sigmar podcast T-shirt, part of the Honest Wargamer Gaming Network.
Wait a second.
What the hell?
Hold on. What did you do?
That's not right. So, let's talk about Age of Sigmar.
Absolutely.
Is that okay with you?
Yep. So we're here at Nashcon, which is run by David Griffin. 64-player match play, 2,000 points. A couple different things make this event a little unique compared to your average 2,000-point
Please tell
tournament.
me.
So the first thing is it's a 2-list format. No sideboards, nothing like that, but every player brings 2 lists, and they show both of them to their opponent, and then you pick which one you think you are going to do best with, so you pick your own list. Now, a real gamesman will
Has to be from the same faction.
From the same faction, yep, and it can be as similar as the exact same list with one different item or different command trait, but there has to be a difference between them.
Yes.
Now, a smart player makes their decision based on what their opponent is playing. A reckless player
Just
picks randomly.
Yeah, randomly. You roll the dice.
And someone with a big old set of cojones, he cojones or she cojones, lets their opponent pick the list.
Yeah, that's the. That is the.
It's the mind game inside the mind game.
It's a power move.
It's a real power move.
Yeah, you choose, and let's see what happens.
I don't care which one. I'm still going to whoop you.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Now, the other thing that's interesting to NashCon is instead of using secondary objectives like the hidden objectives from that GW has published, there's a list of 25 schemes. And of those 25 schemes, every player gets a random...
Do you mean machinations?
Machinations.
Subterfuges.
Oh, yeah. That's
hoodwinks.
Did you sit with a thesaurus this morning?
Nah, it's just I read them as a child.
Just have a good vocabulary.
Yeah, but there are 25 potential hootenannies that you can pull. Yeah.
Being that we're in the South, I think a hootenanny is a very good term. We're going to have to rename the scheme deck the hootenanny deck.
The hootenanny deck. So all the hootenannies. Oh, we can see someone.
You're given 6 random hootenannies from the humdinger list.
Exactly.
And your goal is to you pick 1 per game, so you have to use 5 of those 6. Now, because it's a 2-list format, a lot of these are really polarized. For example, one of them is you have to you have to destroy all your opponent's monsters and have a monster left on your side of the field.
Which is very complicated to achieve. But what's nice is it's still...
Especially from a list design perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a relatively small field, 64 people, but what's nice is you'll definitely end up with, like, as using it as a secondary, like, which I really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
And some of you might not know, sometimes in larger events you can end up with effectively someone on maximum wins, maximum secondaries, but these are very challenging to achieve, and I really like that. I think that's excellent. Am I right in thinking that if you actually do achieve it, you get to shout a yeehaw?
It's yeehaw, suey, or a yee.
Apologies to the ears at home, but that should be fine.
I apologize for nothing. Hashtag Rage of Sigmar.
Yeah, absolutely. If there is a delay with the audio, thanks LLV, we'll try and sort that out.
Well, another thing that's interesting about the schemes is the way the points are weighted. So a major victory is worth 15 points. Achieving your scheme is worth 9. So it's a 60 to 40% split in terms of how the points are set up. So even if you're going to lose your game or you're getting a minor loss, you can still get more than half points just based on getting your scheme. So it's very heavily weighted towards achieving your schemes, and they're asymmetrical.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about the schemes as we go through the day, obviously.
Yep.
And we'll bring them up and we'll talk to you about them. So we'll talk about the concurrent Coda Tree. Thank you so much for subscribing.
Babe.
What a babe. We're going to talk about where Age Sigmar's at the minute. So obviously, as we know...
Nashville.
We're in Nashville, but as we know, we're part of a global community. I know you guys are watching from all across the world, and that means that we're part of an ongoing conversation about alpha combat. So we've got Nash, we've got Flesh Eater Courts, always doing well. Nash particularly the big thing. And also, we've got those really annoying vermin lords stood behind a bunch of clan rats or plague monks. So the conversation that we've had from a bunch of hashtag content creators, is we need shooting to return.
Absolutely.
Shooting to return.
It needs to be back in the meta.
Exactly. So one of the things that I find quite exciting is being able to pick the matches that you guys are going to see. There's loads of great competitors and beautiful armies in here, so we'll try and bring you some real good ones later on. Normally we focus on fun, but we thought for the first round what we'd do is we'd bring you shooting versus one of those alpha combat lists. So we've got a Flesh Eater Courts list, and what was interesting was we had 2 matchups to choose from.
Yep.
We had Carriage on Overlords versus Flesh Eater Courts, or Free People versus Flesh Eater Courts.
Yep.
We chose Free People versus Flesh Eater Courts because more than likely they're not going to win that one.
Well, I think you say that, but Free People have a lot of good mechanics in their battle tome. It's not a battle tome, but in their allegiance abilities that allow them to not play the activation wars, because a lot of their abilities to stand and shoot trigger in the charge phase, and it has to do with how if they end a charge within 3 inches of one of the units in the... It's not a battalion, it's a detachment.
Yeah, so it's their effective allegiance ability.
Right.
The great companies. So it's going to be really interesting to see that in play.
They're pretty good companies.
Yeah, like medium, like
mediocre.
Yeah, like fine enough companies.
Like 7 out of 10 companies.
Yeah,
a B minus company.
Yeah, they're the Ohio of companies.
Yeah. Did you also look up your states this morning so you knew how you could give out some regional burns? Suck it, Nebraska.
Screw you, North Dakota. I just want to say thank you to everyone in the chat for joining us. I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited to have Jacob Berry with us. You guys are wonderful. Make sure you join us. Share it out to everyone in the world.
As the youth say now, smash like and or subscribe.
Yeah, we don't have an infield reporter this weekend, so it's just going to be us riffing because the good guys here are just like putting us up. Jake's put us up at a house. It's great. So we're going to be bringing some American
That's the
Airways
smallest
content.
word you've used to describe my abode.
Grand Palace. However, right, let's look at the map that these two. So we've got Flesh Eater Courts versus Free Peoples. Let's take a look. Thank you so much, Colin. Big shout out to everyone in the chat to Colin smashing it up. So we're playing focal points.
Absolutely.
Focal points. Big shout out to Mr. Tom Wallace for doing our overlay as well. So as you can see, you've got the 5 objectives you can see on the board. It's a very interesting game that you'll have when you have your free peoples, in my opinion. We'll go to the tabletop in a minute. I think that they're going to end up creating themselves like a full little castle bunker.
Right.
Which is how I play Warhammer.
Right, and they're gonna dare the Flesh Eater Courts player to come in and end a charge within 3 and just see if he can kill all of the Feck basically in the Feck player's turn, so that when it's the Free People's turn, he then gets to shoot again.
Exactly. And then I think you're gonna see the Flesh Eater Courts. They've got a Ghoul King on Terrorgeist, which is the big threat. They've also got a Royal Terrorgeist, and I think you're going to see those go forward.
One of the lists has the Royal Terrorgeist. The other list has 2 of the Ghoul Kings on Terrorgeist.
Right. Okay. So I think that's what you're going to see. So it's whether or not shooting can actually take out. So we call these everyone at home. These are going to be
the bully units.
Bully units. So you've got a bully here and a bully here. Now, they've got great swords to counterattack as well. We'll go back to that in a minute to strike, but mainly it's going to be this mid-range shooting. The issue with the crossbows, the issues with the crossbows is that they're only going to shoot into the midfield.
Right.
So they can't engage and they have to stay protected before they can start shooting. So it's going to be an interesting game.
Absolutely. What they can. So we've already got the game started into the hero phase.
Okay, so we don't worry. We're going to go to the table now, and then we'll be able to look at the board. There you go. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So that's focal points.
Right, and so we've got the 2 Ghoul Kings on Terrorgeist here and here, and we're looking at the center one has Unholy Vitality.
So this is going to give it a 5+ right here. That's going to get a 5+ DPR. So any damage, just making it super survivable. Normally, what you actually find with those Flesh Eater Courts players, and can we just talk about Flesh Eater Courts played by Tanya? Free People's played by Thomas.
Correct.
Tanya, you'll normally find that what won't happen. That's right. What won't happen?
What won't happen?
What won't happen is
how
these.
British am I?
Yeah, how I'm so British. And what normally doesn't happen is this rule. Terror guys don't normally engage in combat unless they have their 5+ DPR, because while particularly defensive, they're not overly defensive.
No, and their best defense is a good offense, and which is something you hear usually in reverse. Big shout out to Ruskies, by the way, for subscribing at Tier 1, 8 months, killing it right now. Now. Additionally, another important thing to note is we've got Spectral Host over here. Oh, that does not look good at all. Spectral Host on this Terrorgeist, which is what lets them run and charge. So, and
as we can see, we're straight into the movement phase. So, we'll find out whether or not we got the D3 extra attacks cast as well, which I imagine put it here.
There is an Archregent on the board. I don't see where he's sitting, but I assume he tried to.
Don't worry. I think Colin will be able to bring us where the Archregent is on the other camera in a bit.
So they did not get the D3 extra attacks on.
Right. So let's quickly talk about the lists. You've got a free. That's
a Free Guild Griffin.
Thank you.
It's a Free Guild General on Griffin.
It's a general
two
on
generals
a Griffin.
On Griffin.
So those are 2 there. We also have at the front. We've got a Free Guild General here, and then what you have here is our units of.
That's going to be the Free Guild Guard.
Yeah.
Backed up behind by the Free Guild Crossbowmen and the Handgunners.
So they're there. However, so can we just talk about? So you got the Flayers moving up as well. So you got 2 G-Cots as we call them, or Kumquats. Right there, yeah, two offensive kumquats, and you've got the Flayers. Now this game is going to be over pretty quick, because it's either going to happen or it's not going to happen,
right?
Which is fun.
Either
way, it's going to happen. Now, and this because the reason we put it on is to display what shooting's like. This is how alpha combat works. If you look where they started, they're here, like already within charge range. They can already apply this, as well as the Flayers. I don't think the Flayers will make the charge.
Now this scenario is one where you deploy up to 15 inches into the table. You're only 18 inches apart from your opponent, so that definitely favors Tanya in the effect if they want to get that alpha strike.
Yeah, five of the 12 General's Handbook missions now do start 18 inches
Correct.
apart.
So we're expecting to see a turn 1 charge from at least one, if not both, of the Ghoul Kings on Terrorgeist. The question is Tanya going to be able to stay away from the Grand Company here? Because if she's within 3 of any of them, a different unit from the detachment is going to be able to fire.
Yes, I think what's really interesting is I think that the Free Guild Generals might be bait.
I think that's probably accurate. The thing is, it doesn't look like there's enough models within 6 inches of this objective here in order to, even if both Terrorgeist or one Terrorgeist goes in there and kills both of those Free Guild Generals, that means that Tanya would be claiming that objective turn 1.
Yeah. Realistically, though, the reason we call these guys the bully units, and as Jacob said, the pivot earlier, what you're going to want to do is kill these. And what happens normally, especially because this is a Gristle Gore list, what normally happens is you try and engage with them, and now if you can charge them, you're good, because they've been FAQ'd, so that if you charge them, you get to strike first. However, the main issue is getting to charge something that's so fast, which is why a lot of the gaming community have been talking about shooting, because it means that you're able to, and I'm going to steal this from Tom from Warhammer Weekly, project power out of range. Normally, so projection of power here is moving a unit and engaging. What shooting does is it allows you to project power at this distance, but it's not, we've seen the charge.
Looks like we've got...
Who can fight?
In charge, we are in.
What? What can one human atop a giant bird do against an undead dragon with a slobbering monster?
My
That's the
guess
question.
is probably nothing but die, but if he does well enough, maybe it's die slowly and force Tanya to use a command point. She does have a command point.
So I think, Colin, we might be able to get a zoom in on that shot there of those guys battling it out. He's already done it for
Mini
us.
Painting Giant, did you guys suggest using glowing objective markers? Yeah, that's one thing we use here to make it a little bit easier to see where the objectives are.
It's actually called the SOL system, the Stream Objective Lighting System.
The solar system?
No, just the SOL, S-O-L.
S-O-L.
Yeah,
Right.
Stream Objective Lighting and reflection system, solar.
It's lovely.
Yeah, the SOL
I
system.
love it. It's terrific.
Invented by Nikos, our 40k champ.
Brilliant.
And correct, Bridewell. What can one human atop a bird do against such reckless hate? Just a little side note, I don't know if you guys can see, but this building here was 3D printed, took 300 hours and looks amazing. We'll try and get a little view of that later.
It's got some pretty cool crenellations and filigree in there. It's really well painted and really just a beautiful piece of work. If you're interested in looking at more of these, you can talk to Anthony Polcastro on Twitter. He does a lot of the 3D printing and most of it for Nash Con. Now, do we think in this fight here, obviously this is good for actually the Frigo player, because the Griffins are not what's going to win him this game.
No,
Those
it's not.
Griffins are actually chaff. They're expensive chaff.
I mean, they have gone up in points. Sometimes you could see up to 4 free guild generals on Griffin in lists previously. 2, I think, is good because effectively this army is a gunline army, so you need movement, and those free guild generals on Griffin are super fast.
Right.
But this game is this, FYI. And this is why I wanted to show it you guys, because sometimes you won't really see it on the tabletop, or you won't, especially when people are talking about it in the context of just a podcast.
Right.
You won't really get it, but right here, right now, you can see what it's like having so much applied. Also, Flukesy, thanks for subscribing.
Absolutely. Thanks, Lucy. Now, one thing I noticed that Tanya did that I thought was very clever was not bringing in either the second Terrorgeist or the Flayers. Making sure she's holding those objectives and playing the objectives game is really what's going to win her this game, because the Alpha Strike is very important, but I actually think that this fight over here is tangential to who's going to win the game. What matters is how much damage all of the shooting that Thomas can put out is going to do.
Felony Skunk, thanks for subscribing. And yeah, Jacob, I couldn't agree with you more. I thought you were here for the jokes, but apparently you're here for the absolutely insightful commentary and articulate information and facts.
I appreciate you saying that, but I have a reputation to uphold, so please don't let word get out.
How's everyone in the chat doing, FYI? I hope you guys are having fun. So this is the game, and this is how Alpha Combat works. If I can just get the top down again, please, Colin, you'll be able to see what we're talking about. As we see those attacks resolve, and we'll find out what actually has happened in that combat, because surely that combat's gone through now. And
so that combat, only 5 wounds were done to the
what
Frigo
the hell?
It seems like he made a lot of good saves. So I don't know which.
So he must
which
be
Griffin
attacking
is
again.
the
So I
general,
imagine the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist is attacking.
One of the Griffins has Indomitable, which is the free guild version of Staunch Defender. Everyone gets a +1 to their armor save within 9 inches if they haven't charged. So that puts the free guild general on either a 3 or a 2 up, a really healthy save. So even against those maw attacks that are Ren 2, but if we're not looking at mortal wounds, it's not going to just...
And there must have been no 6s. Tanya's got to be gutted.
Right.
Absolutely gutted. And what's really interesting, we'll be able to have...
No 6s, yeah. So
no 6s. However,
no 6s
if you are a Flesh Eater Courts player, you will know that you get the chance to have another go.
You do.
Another go. And I think that's what we're going to see.
Now, so you can see on the board which objectives have been claimed. The red ones are claimed by Tanya, the red player on top, and blue is Thomas on the bottom.
So can we just find out, make sure that the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist attacked twice? And we will find that out from the tabletop. I'm almost certain.
I actually think it would be a mistake to attack twice here, because it did attack twice. So she does not have any command points left. Now, I think that
she did attack twice.
Yeah, she did attack
and she
twice.
only did 4 damage.
5 damage.
Wait, a Ghoul King on Terrorgeist?
Yep.
Charging. Do you know, Tanya, I just want to talk to you a moment. I have been nothing but lambast that unit.
Right.
I have criticised, cussed, attacked, hurt,
derided,
yeah,
slandered, libeled, both in written and verbal format.
Yeah, I have done graffiti on church walls, insulting Ghoul Kings on Terrorgeist, and it has shown me to be a fool in this particular combat.
Now, I think the choice to attack twice, obviously, as a Flesh Eater Corps player, you're used to killing what you attack. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why she chose to attack twice there. But I'm not sure that command point was well spent in the grand scheme, because like we said, those birds are bait. Those birds aren't going to win the game because they don't hold objectives any better than the Ghoul Kings on Terrorgeist.
Well, so what would have been very interesting. Now, I don't think this is actually in range, but the distance between here could well be 6 inches.
Sure.
If in the first activation the bird had been killed,
right?
Tanya could have, and she didn't. What's very interestingly,
she didn't move on the pylon.
She didn't mile in on either of the pylons.
Correct.
And could have brought herself in here. Now that might have meant that she ended up being counterattacked, but it also meant that she could have, which is very interestingly, held these units up in combat, which meant in their first turn these wouldn't have been able to move. However, she hasn't. So you've got shooting that could come in here and deal with this, but you have to deal with them in stages. I really hope she doesn't split. Thomas doesn't split fire. Take them down one at a time, I think.
Agreed. Now, another thing that we know about Thomas is listed, he does have the Celestant Prime, and it will come down from the sky eventually. I imagine he would bring it down in the backfield, somewhere right here, for example. Wow, I don't like your styluses, Rob. Your styli.
Should I try to look?
Nope, I'm using my finger. Or bring it down over here so that then it could shoot and make a charge in to get to these objectives and start getting the big points, which is where, because if you claim 2 on the same side, so if you claim both of these, whoop, that's the arrow. If you claim both of one side, you're then going to get 3 points instead of 1. So the way focal points is scored, you get 1 point for holding any of the 4 outside objectives, and you get 2 for holding the center objective. But if you hold 2 on the same side, you're scoring 3 points.
Yeah. So, guys, just because we've obviously we were planning on putting the lists up on the website, but I had a heart attack, so forgive me. But normally we'll have them up.
We can effect on people.
We can see into the movement now. Thomas has got no wizards.
No wizards.
So he's not playing any spells. So straight into movement.
He does, however, have a Witch Hunter.
He has it in this list.
I believe he's playing the list with the Witch Hunter.
Is the list? Wait, hold on. We're having it pointed on the tabletop.
Is hidden behind a big building. Over here. There we go. In case you couldn't see
so
him.
can we, Colin? Can we get a view of the Witch Hunter at some point, please?
Witch Hunter?
The Witch Hunter.
Witch Hunter.
The hunter
of
witches.
Which one?
This one.
Witch
I think.
elves?
No, they're not here yet.
Right, because he hunted them.
All over the place.
Terrific. Now, I love this model. We can now start talking about the schemes that both these players have in play.
Hold on. Let's just talk about what we're going to see happen for Free Peoples, and then we'll get to it. Is
Fine.
that okay?
No, of course, go on.
So, what you're going to have here is, and as you've already seen, you're going to see this bird move. Oh, that is a bigger one than I want. You've got this unit of crossbows here and this unit of handgunners there. I'm hoping we get closer shots on those, please. That's possible. In fact, even from this camera, I think I can do it. Let me just find out if this is correct.
So, both players have chosen a scheme.
They have.
The way the schemes work, we talked earlier about them being the secondary objectives. Thomas's scheme is called Treacherous Progress. And his goal is to have only one of his heroes left alive, his one hero that is the lowest points value, which is going to be that Witch Hunter. So if he can keep that Witch Hunter alive out in the middle of nowhere, he will score 9 points out of a possible 25 for the scenario.
Yes.
So that's a big point swing. Now, Tanya's objective, her goal is Secret Messenger, and she had to elect one of Thomas's heroes to keep alive for the game. And if that hero's alive at the end of the game, she scores her scheme. Her subterfuge.
Hootenanny.
Her hootenanny,
Yeah.
exactly. Now, what could be happening here is if Tanya selected the Witch Hunter, they're both actually aiming at the same thing, which is just to leave him on the side and have nothing happen to that Witch Hunter.
Yeah, so as you can see on the left-hand screen, thank you very much, Colin, right there's the Witch Hunter hidden away.
Witch Hunter?
So that Witch
You
Hunter,
signed up for this.
Yeah, this
You
Witch
knew
Hunter.
what you were getting into.
I'm so okay with it. I'm honestly amazed. How much damage back did the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist here take? I'm interested in that.
Can't see that wound marker.
From
Taken 5. So they both took 5.
Okay, so both of these took 5. However, you are going to get an attack back here, another counter charge, but I imagine the smart play. So this Ghoul King on Terrorgeist here has got the 5-up DPR save. It's a little bit more challenging to kill.
Correct. Now, it turns out shooting is already going on, and it looks like the Ghoul King in the lead is down to 2 remaining wounds. It's taken 12 overall.
Here, already?
Yes.
From which unit shot?
So that was unclear. So the gunners in the back.
So handgunners, 30 handgunners. Now, going to get +1 to hit from the command ability of the character here, which is really interesting.
+1 to hit and wound, I believe.
Yes, and then as you can see, this bait has worked particularly well for the shooting. And I mean, what was interesting was the 2 choices, because both of the G-Cots could have gone here as well. And that means that effectively 2 places, but Thomas knows his way of dealing with those 2 units is these shooting blocks here. So he's decided to put them all in one place.
Now, in looking at the rest of his turn, if he's able to kill that G-Cot, it gives him the ability to charge with his Griffin here. But do you think that it would be a canny move for him to make a charge with this great company of Free Guild Guard, or the Guard? Or do you think that his best bet is just to move forward and have more models within 6 of that objective?
What's interesting, and we'll talk about this in the post-game review, and the reason I wanted to put this on is because this game is either over turn 1-2, or it's like not decided until turn 4-5.
Correct.
I don't want to. I'm quite excited to see that G-Cot die, but I'll try and talk about it in minutia now. Effectively,
sorry, Tanya, we love you.
Absolutely love you, Tanya. So, like, what Tanya could have done is just put flares here, put flares here, put flares here, hold the objectives. We'll talk about it again later. Oh, there's something happened on the tabletop.
So we just found out that the crossbows are splitting their fire, and they're shooting at the flares in the center here. They're shooting
commit.
Pew pew, as it were.
As it were, as it will be.
As it shall be.
As tis was.
So it has been. So it shall be. Ever as it shall ever be. How British am I?
I'm so British that I've smelt a corgi's bum.
The very tick-tock of Big Ben's cock. You are the pigeon shit in Trafalgar Square.
So make sure we stay hot with the goss from the tabletop and find out what the results are.
Do you think that Thomas did that because he's confident that his Griffin is going to be able to win this fight? If nothing else charges, he will get to fight first, and he could be fairly confident that he can do 2 wounds.
Like Wet Pilot, this. I don't think you need to do the shooting here, but the Expos, so the crossbows as we're talking about, might not quite be in range. You might be able to get our table boss to let us know there. So the flares are the other option, but it would make. I mean, they're in range here, so they should be in range there.
It also how much damage is done here by these crossbows is really gonna mitigate how much of a charge these guards can make. Because if Tanya is canny, she'll take off a couple models, and suddenly this charge here for the guard is much further, and they're not going to be able to get models in to claim the objective. Yeah, I mean,
so we'll in the post game. I'm going to talk about exactly where I think this game can go. Yeah, and you started to lose some flares. They are paper thin, those flares. Wow, he has lifted 4. She has lifted 4 flares from the board. That is incredible work, because this army works so synergistically in this big bubble. It's just like all of this is better now because of that one Free Guild General. Or any of them, but specifically that one who's giving that buff out because it's within range there. Right. And then that is just so Tanya's committed turn 1. She's killed nothing, and then Thomas is just like his reply. And this is why alpha combat is something you can defeat, but it requires shooting to do so, because there's been no engagement here. And even if this engagement had gone the way that Tanya had wanted, all that would have been lost is Free Guild General and Griffin, potentially 2. However, the actual power in the army, which is the shooting, is still alive.
Correct. Now we should be seeing Thomas with still 1 command point, because it looks like Thomas used his command point to power up his whole backfield. Looks like Thomas is lining up a 5-inch charge here, just making it in with a 6. That is awfully close.
That is real good.
That's
Ooh.
another regional hair away from not succeeding.
To quote my friend Dan, that's a bee's dick distance out.
That stings. That's the buzz I hear around the community anyway. Anyway.
That's why Jacob's here.
So
Jacob's here to carry the show.
Looks like we've got 2 Griffins fighting 1 G-Cot. I do think that between the 2 of them, they should be able to finish him off. The question is, does she have a command point that she can then use? She should have 1 command point left.
No, Tanya's got
to
no
fight
command
after.
points, or she's got no command points left. We'll find that out from our table boss.
She started with 1 command point, and she should have gained. So she should
one
have
for
had,
her turn.
Correct. She's got 1 left, so she will be able to fight with that G-Cot after it dies.
You can see it on the overlay because Colin and Scrivo are just giving it a whirl. They'll let us know exactly when. Those points change.
Correct.
But that'll be fine.
So Tanya would have scored 4 points in the first turn, and this being Colin's turn, it looks like he's probably only going to score 2. It does not look like he's going to be able to score. Correct. Tanya's on 4. And it looks like there's not going to be anything that Thomas can do to claim the center objective. So it looks like it's going to be 4-2 after the first turn. Now, it does also look like if this G-Cot does go down, if our front runner, Alpha Strike Boy, does go down, it looks like it's going to be pretty crippling if Thomas is able to get the double turn. Because he'll be bringing down the Celestia
You mean win the priority?
Correct. Win priority to get
a double
back
turn.
to back.
Yeah, a back-to-back turn. Yeah, and this is why, actually, if you actually look at this game and when we talk about it afterwards, and I'm glad you guys are
Tanya's
enjoying
making 10 DPR saves from the first Griffin.
on this here. So that's just going to be a 6-up death save that you're going to see. So that is definitely a dead Ghoul King on Terror, guys.
It is, and
which
it's doing
everyone in
D3
the
mortal
world,
wounds.
everyone in the world is excited about.
It's
Realistically,
doing D3 mortal wounds to everything within 3 inches, which is going to be both of those Free Guild generals. And her other Terrorgeist was out of range. That may be why she didn't pile in, because she didn't want it to take D3 mortal wounds when it died, because she was expecting it to die.
yes, absolutely. But I think she was expecting both of these to be dead, and that's the commitment, right? And that Ghoul King on Terror, guys, really should have done at least 6 mortal wounds, at least.
Definitely.
So it's re-rolling to hit. So the maths are you do that at least once, which means that goes through, gives you a rent, gives the opponent a save. It's another d6. That's close.
And Tanya's taken priority here, so she is going to have her chance to stop the onslaught that Thomas has put on her.
So it's a priority roll 1 for Tanya. Yeah, and Flesh Eater Corpse.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So, Jacob, what do you think Tanya's going to be able to do now in order to engage that big defensive block?
It looks to me like her goal should be to move both her big bat and her smaller unit of bats up here to be able to scream, because that scream is going to hit against their relatively low bravery of the Free Guild, and hopefully make some charges to hold them back. Now, if she can create a wall here, instead of going in and fighting and dying, if she can go in and create a wall, basically so that none of the Free Guild can advance fast enough. Free Guild are not very fast, and it will be a challenge for the Free Guild to get all the way across the board if Tanya doesn't do the work for them by having her own models die by charging.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not sure that, no, I'm not. I'm pretty resolutely confident, in fact, that that this is all Thomas's game now.
It's Thomas's game to lose. Now, I think what Tanya can do is, if she can screen off this section and stop Thomas from advancing, she can win simply on points. It's not going to come down to how many models she can kill, because she can stop their advance.
Yeah, not so. No, because there'll be nothing left.
She can still hold objectives she doesn't have models on.
Which is what she should have done at the start, right? So this is what's really interesting. This is what's really interesting about bully units.
Now, we just found out that Tanya got the D3 attacks, D3 additional attack spell off on the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist, and so it's going to be, yes, on the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist. So that's going to have 3 or 4 attacks on the mob plus D3. So that's going to make it a lot hittier than it was before.
Yeah, we'll find out exactly what the D3 is. The issue is on the tabletop is it's not that the free people can't score. It's that what Tanya didn't do didn't set up so that these bully units of the Ghoul Kings on Terrorgeist were the threats. as opposed to the actual engaging units, because effectively they were just thrown in. We'll try and talk about that in the post, but what you're seeing now is, this is, in my opinion, absolutely the Free People's game. Not just unless this is the swing, unless this Ghoul King on Terrorgeist, buffed up, it can comfortably, with its one command point, go in here, delete that unit, go in here and delete that unit, and then be engaged. And that's really important, because its job now is not to delete everything, it's to hold up everything for one, maybe two turns more, so that the points can be scored. And that's it. And
now the trick here is Thomas still has the Celestin Prime to bring down. And the Celestin Prime is going to get to change one die roll, and he can guarantee he gets his charge, or he can guarantee damage on his shooting or his attacks.
Yeah, which is going to be here at the back, or well,
but
yeah.
It looks like Tanya's moving her bats off the objectives, because she will hold them until something claims them from her. So it seems like she may be basically daring Thomas to drop the Celestin in a place where he can't do damage, because she's worried about the damage output.
Yes.
So even though it'll claim the objective, it won't be able to hurt her with that. Although, like we mentioned before, it doesn't matter how many models you have on the table at the end of the game. It matters how many points you scored.
Yeah, Spleen Thief, the Fleshy Quartz list is Gristle Gore.
Great question. Yeah, it is Gristle Gore.
So we don't have the list for you on the site.
It's using the Dead Watch Battalion, which lets them fight in the hero phase.
Dead Watch.
Dead Watch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty certain Fleshy Quartz are going to be watching their dead pile grow larger and larger.
Absolutely. And it brings me a lot of happiness. It makes me chuckle very deeply. I would say chuckle all the way down to my butt. I would describe myself as a chuckle buddy when I see the happiness that everyone else derives from seeing that GCOT dead.
Yes, I'm joyous beyond all belief. Although Tanya's still got the options to go in, and then you can also. This is now only 3 flayers left potentially.
No, there's 5. It's a unit of 9.
Oh, a unit of 9.
I'm sorry. Yeah, a unit of 9. I'm sorry, a unit of 6, but she brought some back with the courtier. Because the courtier regrows them on a 5-up. You roll 6 dice. Every 5-up is a flayer brought back. So we're looking at 5 flayers still in the mix in the middle. And 5 flayers is more than enough to wipe a big unit or really reduce the strength of a unit of any of the free guild. Yeah,
the free guild. I mean, the free guild are pretty resilient though. Like most, like 4 to 5 up saves, depending, and then they obviously get the command ability as well from the general. So they actually work so much better. What he wants to do, or what Death wants to do in this situation, is deal with that one character.
Yes.
Again, like we've talked about, quite interesting. And there's also no war machines in this list, but the other list that was available did have war machines, right?
Now, one thing we did not get a chance to mention, because we do still have an Archregent sitting on that throne in the back, he just summoned 20 ghouls for free in Thomas's backfield. And that's going to really force Thomas to commit either to moving forward and pushing for those objectives, or defending by moving this way.
Yes.
My arrows are not great. I apologize to all the viewers. I will never apologize for the offensive content I put out, but I will apologize for the awful, awful drawings that I'm putting on here. Also, big shout out to Ma'am Dare, just joined the knee stabbing gang. Welcome, welcome.
For 19 months.
19 months.
They've been here a while.
Just rejoined, took a deep breath, and are back. Looks to me like that is not quite 2.5 Arachnaroks worth of knees to stab.
No.
But it is 2 and 37.5% of the next one.
It's 19 of my ex-girlfriend's knees that you could stab. That was a one-legged joke that worked badly. I hope if my current girlfriend's listening, miss you bunch.
And so we have confirmed that Tanya is her goal is to not kill the witch hunter, and Thomas's goal is to keep the witch hunter alive. So it turns out they're actually working together on this one. Unbeknownst to either of them, they're having a friendship moment between the Free Guild and the Feck.
Oh, really? What, are they joining hands, or are they having a sing?
Probably both, a little bit both, holding hands, singing Kumbaya, because the Feck believe that they are righteous crusaders, and the Free Guild are the last hope of man in a world just entirely destroyed and rife with chaos and war and violence. So they've joined together to say, you know what, this guy's okay, because he may be taken out of the battle tome. He may not be available ever again, so we're giving him one last glorious hurrah.
The Witch Hunter's inclusion in this is fantastic because, well, you know, we're all kind of sad that some of those units are going from the game, but it's also nice seeing how the Free Guild can play before they're even in the cities of Sigmar Book against Flesh Eater Courts, the terrifying champion of last year's Age of Sigmar season. Yeah,
such fear.
Such rage.
In Sigmar.
In Sigmar, absolutely.
That sounds like a great title. You should come up with some sort of show like that. Now, it looks like Tanya has also summoned 3 more flares in her backfield in order to keep her objective safe. So the Celestin Prime is actually boxed out. Probably a lot of this region
so Celestin Prime's up here?
Can't be summoned. No, that's more flares. More flares. And so it looks like... Now I just drew on that, Rob.
I'm sorry.
I just told you it's boxing out where the Celestin Prime can come down. If you were listening...
Rob.
Is this your first time doing a live stream?
I've never done this before. So what he's doing is he's creating some zones.
So these are all the zones that I believe it looks like the Celestin Prime cannot enter. So it looks like he'd have to be outside of these regions, which gives us all this section here for the Celestin Prime to come down, and possibly out here. Now, if I were...
That looks like boobs, Jacob.
No, those are butts that are farting.
Jacob, that
butts.
looks like you've drawn boobs.
Farting butts.
You've drawn boobs on the live stream. Just admit what you've done, and we'll move on as a group.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I will say a couple focal units that we really think are possibly going to save the game for Tanya, if she's ever to bring it back, is both this unit of flares and that unit of flares. Now, if Thomas can ram something in the middle there, that might make it so that it might make it so that
I apologize
he'd be able
to everyone
to
who's
control
listening at
this
home.
center objective. It looks like we've got the ghouls charging, and they've charged the Free Guild Griffins.
Yeah, let's keep everyone updated where we are. We are in the charge phase of Flesh Eater Courts, who have the first turn in Battle Round 2. That's where we are, and you can see that. I'll just make sure I go back to there. So you see that in the bottom right-hand corner here. That's Reflex Dog Training. Thank you for donating 100 bits.
Thanks,
for me to
Reflex
get,
Dog
I will
Training
not be
painting.
using that money for another Dairy Queen at all. Those
I
ghouls.
thought it said a handy and a Dairy Queen, not a handy Dairy Queen.
So that's important there. That's important, that combat. It's locked that unit in. But it really is, in my opinion, those ghouls are not going to kill the Empire General on Griffin. The Empire General on Griffin is going to hit him back. It's going to hit him back in the next round. It hasn't changed the shape of the game at all.
Terrorgeist just made that 8-inch charge.
Oh, okay. Now that has changed the shape of the game.
That has definitely changed the shape of the game, because it's also getting the D3 extra attacks.
Okay.
Ooh,
okay.
boy.
All right. So make sure we can just get the command points overlay changed, if that's correct. If they do have one each, if they don't, it's going to get that double checked.
I believe Tanya has one, because she had 2 at the top of turn, and she summoned these flares back here with the Royal Terrorgeist.
Yeah, Learn Train Play says, I hate FEC so much. Interesting stat, there's only one Skaven army here at Nash Con 2019, which I find quite interesting.
Absolutely. I wasn't listening.
Although there are 8 Khorne armies, and there are 8...
Which is terrifically thematic.
I mean, super
There's
thematic.
Also 6 Slanesh, which is terrifically thematic.
Congratulations to Nashville and Nash Con.
You're welcome.
You guys are smashing it, as they say.
Smashing it, crushing it, yelling at people for burping. We're doing everything over here.
Yeah.
Now, with this Ghoul King coming in, she's piling in around the Free Guild General that she charged to be able to fight the closer one. Now, if Tanya's able to wipe this Ghoul... If she's able to wipe this this Free Guild General and then do some damage to the second general, that's going to let the ghouls will, because they charged, will get to pile in regardless of if they're within 3 or not. Because even if there's nothing within 3 of them, they're going to get to pile in after charging, which will get them within range of that objective and could get Tanya. Instead of only having 1 point for her back objective, she'll get 3 for that pair of objectives.
Now, I'm normally a guy who's all about getting the gold, so that's what we call the objectives in the game. So get the gold, get the objective.
Always get the gold.
Always
get the objective.
Get the gold.
Always stuff it in your pants. Also your trousers. I speak British. Chip chop.
Chip chop. What have all been? Now, as you can see, the Ghoul King and Terrorgeist is probably going to activate first because he's always strikes first, and then he's going to... I imagine he's going to attack right here. We just double check, make sure that's what we're getting from our table boss.
So the Ghoul King has done 3 damage on the attack so far. So that Frigo generator is down to 4 wounds.
This one here?
I believe it's the one in the back. This one in the back has taken 4 wounds so far.
Okay, so 4 wounds on that Griffin left. The other Griffin unwounded so far. We've still got the Ghouls to strike, and we've got the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist to strike again. So weird that the most obvious command ability in use gets used every round all the time. I'd have never expected it.
It's almost like it's a strong choice, and that.
Oh, it's so
there
to quote
goes
my
the birdie. Fly away, little birdie.
Yeah, to quote my Canadian friends, that model has been lifted. That's what they say over there. It's been lifted.
And Tanya's spending a command point to fight again.
No way. Color me purple. Call me shocked.
Shock and awe. I didn't know they could do that. Did you know they could do that?
No, but however, I do think that Thomas is winning our hearts and minds.
But look at how exploded that Frigo Griffin is.
Whoa, there's an explosion marker. That's interesting.
I can almost smell the smoke.
Big question, Twitch chat and Jacob. Do you think we're going to see the other birdie there die? What are your thoughts?
I would give it a snowball's chance.
That is a beautiful model, by the way.
Hell to survive.
Yeah, you don't think it's going to? Last time it only took 5 wounds in 2 rounds of combat.
Yeah, but Tanya rolled poorly, didn't have the plus D3 attacks.
It's close. It's going to be very interesting. We'll see those results as they come in.
And look at the lovely light flickering off of the beautiful terrain, the spiral staircase there.
Also, a big thank you to
cinematic.
anyone who donated to the GoFundMe to allow us to have the fancy cameras
R.I.P.
to do this.
Eagle Lion.
Yeah, that's right, JJ. Lift your toys off the table, mate. Take your toys off, mate.
Chip chop, take it off.
Take your toys off, mate. Is a bit of an English phrase that we use.
Which one?
Take your toys off, mate.
Take them off.
Take your
Here
toys
we
off.
just shout take it off, and then also play Warhammer.
Although it doesn't look like it's dead.
So the Ghoul King has done 12 damage.
But it's
and
low.
the birdie is gone.
And it
2
is
birds
gone.
1 stone.
2 birds.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you kill birds. But it's
another
gone
explosion
in another puff of
marker.
smoke.
There we go.
What a cinematic board.
Thomas is
And
really playing it out
Thomas
there.
has to be sweating this now because he will be giving up this bottom objective. So between these two, Tanya's going to score 3. This one's going to be another 2. Those are pluses, not times for you at home. I'm writing sideways, and that's another +1, which means that Tanya's going to be scoring 6 points this turn. Tanya's going to go up big. It's going to be 10-2.
Yeah. So we'll get the score updated in a moment. So 10-2. It doesn't really matter though until here. If you guys can look on the left-hand side of the screen, which is why we've talked about how Tanya could have probably won the game in the first turn. And she still may well win the game, but she has put it down to risk. Just
Now,
looking at that beautiful army
great
there.
Tactics here by Thomas, having his models facing away from the opponent because they can shoot things that are off the table.
Yeah, that's smart.
Really clever there.
Yeah, very clever. Like this guy is like, watch out for ghouls over here. This guy's like, I'm going to go stab that guy.
In the USA, we call that watching your 6.
Yeah, watching the 6. Yeah, like it's very clever. This guy's going to just shoot there. This guy's going to shoot over there. He's just defending the world.
Outstanding. Now, with Tanya up 10-2, what do you think Thomas needs to do in order to make a comeback? How is he? What is his best course of action, do you think?
So let's have a look at this.
Aside from having smoldering craters where his double bait used to be.
So he hasn't actually.
It was bait, and it did serve its purpose.
He hasn't actually lost. Like he's actually still exactly where he needs to be. So what's going to happen is the Celestin Prime.
And it sounds like we've got the Lord Celestin, the Celestin Prime coming down from the sky.
He's landing.
Where is Thomas going to put him? Has to be 9 inches away.
No, don't do this.
Looks like
don't
Thomas is committing to.
Don't do this.
Oh, look at the lightning underneath that.
I'm
Celestin Prime.
so unhappy about this. Can we get a close up on the Celestin Prime, please? But also, this breaks my heart. This is no.
Because he's taken the bait.
Yeah. So this is really cool. So what Tanya's done is applied pressure. Yeah. So she's gone. I'm threatening all this. Yeah. You're going to lose the game. And then Thomas has, in my opinion, reacted. Gaming terminology, tilted.
He's reacted. He hasn't responded.
Exactly. So they're here, and he's come in. Where he should have gone is just off screen a second ago.
He could come down here too. This would be a great place for him to put the Celestin Prime down because it can charge this arch regent and pile in around to then be the only model within range of
well,
the
so
objective.
the issue is the counterattacks here and here. But that's good, though, because that means that these units have taken the pressure off this front line. Yeah.
And if
so you want
Tanya can't get rid of Thomas's shooting, it's still Thomas's game to win.
Absolutely. So what Tanya wants to do is take these units and apply forward. Yeah. And then what Thomas wants to do is take these units and just kill here, all right, and then deal with that. The issue is realistically, if we could switch over and look at that beautiful Celestant Prime, please. There we go. Look at that.
Would you look at that?
Would you look at
Just
this?
look at it.
Look at it.
Look at that.
It's so beautiful. It's so Moorish.
Look at that.
It's beautiful. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Let's get back to the game. Appreciate that, Colin. Isn't he doing well?
Colin is doing fantastically.
First time
phenomenally
doing the John job.
With a PH and an F.
Yeah, although the John is also doing
everyone
well.
does better than Scrivo.
There we go. So, as I was saying, what Tanya wants to do, she wants to apply all the pressure she can here. And what Thomas has...
it looks like those handgunners have just fired, which is why there are fire and smoke markers in front of them.
What? How many LED markers does this fucking guy have?
Yes.
What the hell?
The answer is yes.
Can I just say, Thomas, I love you.
Now, it looks like his handgunners are shooting, and he's measuring to that Ghoul King on Terrorgeist, so I assume he's shooting either the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist or he's shooting at the ghouls. I would personally shoot the ghouls.
You would shoot the... What, here?
Yes, because the ghouls outnumber. The ghouls are bodies.
No. So...
This is why I commentate. I don't play anymore.
Well, no.
I've retired from Warhammer. I set you up perfectly. Can you just knock us out of the park, please?
So... The ghouls, it makes sense, right?
Handgunners are shooting the Terrorgeist.
Perfect.
So Thomas is smarter than me. Tell me why that's the smarter choice, Rob.
Because what you're looking to do realistically is so you don't want short-term games, long-term losses. You want long-term gains. Yeah, and that's why when we talked about the top of the show, we talked about the bully units. This is a game-changing unit. As we saw, it just wiped out 500 points in one round of combat. Yeah,
seems fair.
Let's never let me talk about that. So. What you want to do is deal with that. Now, that's not me saying the flayers aren't good. However, the flayers...
Looks like he's changed. He's now shooting the ghouls instead. With the handgunners.
Oh, no. Oh,
right.
no.
His goal is to outnumber on the objective and score the points.
So it's again, super early. Yeah, like...
It's only turn 2.
It's only turn 2. The commitment, you don't need to commit there. What you need to, you need to set yourself up to wins turn 3, 4, 5.
Correct.
Because there's loads of objectives on this board. There's loads of room.
You can score up to 7 points per turn.
Yeah, which is why there's the current...
Oh, 8. Just kidding. Math is fun.
Isn't it?
It's the best.
It's the best.
2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1 is 3. I would call that relatively slow math.
JJ number 10. We'll get an interview with Thomas at some point, and we'll ask him how he made them.
Absolutely.
If that helps you out. We're bringing you the Honest Wargamer, bringing you the content you want on demand immediately for free.
For free, ladies and gentlemen. Free 99. It's the only price worth paying. Now, in a capitalist society, the commodity is usually the commodity. However, in this case, the commodity is the labor and time that Thomas has put into his army. He's liberating the army from gray plasticness and bad hobby. But Thomas has put a lot of effort. He has a huge display board. A lot of it he poured the resin molds himself for a lot of the work on his display board. Mm-hmm. He's been putting in a ton of work. He's a local player.
He also, FYI, I know a lot of the guys here are a big fan, but he actually lives on Old Town Road where he takes his horse.
Right.
But a lot of people keep taking their horses now to Old Town Road, but he lives there, Old Town Road in Nashville.
In Murfreesboro.
In Murfreesboro.
Yeah. It's spelled Murfreesboro.
Murfreesboro.
Murfreesboro. Yeah, there you go. It's just like Worcestershire. So 15 wounds were just dealt to those ghouls, which is really going to decimate their effectiveness here. And it looks like Tanya's pulling from the front, which means that it doesn't look like Thomas is going to have to work very hard to outnumber how many are within range.
So why he should have shot the Ghoul King instead of the ghouls, right? Is because... I mean, he can still charge. So is that the 30? Is that the 30 great swords at the front?
No, that's not 30 great swords. This list doesn't have 30 great swords. This list has 30 free guild guard and 10 great swords.
I won't lie to you. I'm not excited about there being a 2-list system because I've got 2 lists in my head now.
Oh no, you have to think of 4 lists instead of 2.
Yeah.
You poor puppy dog. It's like you need some training of some sort. Shout out to Reflex Dog Training Painting. Thanks for the bits, bud.
Yeah, thank you for the bits,
I'm
bud.
going to use them I don't get to use them. Oh, Paul Strike 359.
Right, anyway.
What a champ.
Anyway, let me talk about the ghouls dying. So the ghouls is cool. Yeah, that's fun. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't win him the game in the end. And the Celestin Prime being here only threatens. I'm really hoping I don't see the Celestin Prime coming here.
You don't want to see that?
Nah, it's not going to do the job.
It came down turn.
It's not going to do the job. Let's play it out, but it doesn't kill it.
Okay.
Right? It dies in return.
Sure.
Right? So, whereas the Flayers do not kill the Celestin Prime. And this Celestin Prime can be doing it in his backfield, kill, and then take that objective.
Right.
Kill, then control the center.
Now these crossbows are shooting at the flayers in the middle, which means that depending on what kind of charge roll we get from that free guild guard, they could mob both objectives. And even though they can't claim both, we only need 1 model from the unit of handgunners to be in range if Thomas is outnumbering Tanya. So he could claim both of these objectives this turn.
Which is, like, again, isn't bad. It isn't bad, but
it's a short-term game.
It's a short-term game because if the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist is alive, that block's dead, and then potentially that block. Shooting block is what will be dead.
If the Ghoul King charges that free guild guard unit, that means that more of the handgunners or crossbows get to shoot. So even so, with those units alive, it's risky for Tanya to be charging them.
Yes.
That's why she's made the smart move in taking everything else off the table first.
Yeah, I mean, those free guild generals on Griffins who were previously here, as the smoke dictates, and were dead. They can do the work, but I would have never engaged here. So you've got, like, when I put my toys on the board, I normally have, like, matchups in my head. This is this matchup. Those would have been the matchups here. And then this is the matchups here. So as you can see, more shooting gone into those flayers.
3 more flayers dead, so there's going to be 2 left in that unit.
Which is cool, right? Also, what Thomas might be trying to do is just reduce the number of scoring units on the board. That's also not a bad play.
Right.
However, if the next priority roll goes to Tanya, she's just sat on 1, 2, 3, or at least, even if she doesn't hold the center, she sat on 1 and 2, being able to push into either the center or the middle again.
The center or the middle?
The top right-hand side or the center.
There you go.
I don't like it that you're listening to me. Nathan drones everything out. It just blocks it out. So big shout out, Nathan, if you're listening. Also, I can see...
and you can tell that the crossbows have shot. I guess they must be shooting flaming arrows because we've got the puffs of smoke coming off of the crossbows as well.
Pew, 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 pew.
I believe the 10 greatswords is this unit here just sitting on that top objective.
Jason D. Fluffer, thanks very much for subscribing. And I will sort out the double Streamlabs in a moment.
Do we think that Jason is the Fluffer, or is his last name D, and then his profession is Fluffer?
Jason D. Fluffer is actually famous in Sweden.
For
fluffing? Mooses specifically. Most people don't know that Jonathan, our Swedish show host, is actually a moose herder. And Jason D. Fluffer is actually...
Do we ever refer to moose in the plural or just affectionately as nerfs?
Moofs.
So he would be a nerf herder? He is a very scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Jason D. Fluffer? Yeah.
Oh, no. Jonathan.
Pardon me?
Never mind. Thanks for subscribing for 21 months. You're a real hero. You're a real American hero.
You are. Yeah.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah. There we go. Thank you for bringing. Are you our first American? Yeah, you're our first American commentator. How's that feel?
First and last.
Yeah, first American commentator that we've had on the Honest Wargamer, and therefore
the quality's never been worse.
And therefore the first good American live stream commentator.
I would say you're being too nice. I'm definitively the worst American commentator you've ever had on stream.
And also the best simultaneously, which is all you need. So is the Celestin going to make a charge is going to be the big question. We are seeing... So let's go find out what that unit is down there in the bottom.
Those are ghouls.
So are we now into Tanya's turn? No, because we were in...
Oh, the Celestin Prime's Comet just dropped down.
Oh, I am wildly... I'm in charge of this, ladies and gentlemen.
What are you doing?
Everything you're seeing on
Look at that crotch.
Would you
look at that?
There we go.
Look at it.
There we go. So the
Celestin Prime dropped its Comet, which hits everything within a certain range, so hopefully 2 more ghouls are dead, and I assume it's also going to hit the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist.
Yes, so looking to chip some wounds off. We'll find out how many wounds the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist has got left. I don't imagine it's
It's
many.
on full health.
Full health.
Yeah.
With a
The other one is dead.
And has it got unholy vitality on it? Did that go off last term
I believe
as well?
Unholy Vitality did not go off. Oh, it did go off.
So 5 up
so
DPR.
it does have the 5 up DPR, and it's got Vicious Hunger. So
Let me
it's got
tell
the
you, baby,
D3.
that thing does not die. Yeah, it's
It
not-
does.
yeah,
It
to
does
this,
die.
but it's been wasted.
It'll die to this too.
No, it will to the guard, to the free guild guard. Am I not
Absolutely.
giving them the respect they deserve?
It's now taken 2 wounds, so it is significantly depleted.
It's basically dead at this
Everything
stage.
about it is exactly the same, but emotionally, the damage is irrevocable unless it has a hero phase.
Oh, so
and
I think we've seen the smoke go because we're going to see a charge happen.
I believe so.
Oh, and also
and
great
now
power
you've
play.
Seen, you've seen
Thomas.
behind the mask.
Yeah, Thomas has
You've
just knocked
seen-
models off, just like screw
Exactly
you.
right.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Exactly right. What a lovely looking game. Oh, interesting that's a piece of deadly terrain. I hope Thomas doesn't roll a 1 when he charges if he ends up within an inch of it.
What, just take the D3 wounds? Oh no.
Of his 30 guard, you don't want 3 to die.
I don't think. Yeah,
I'm not sure I appreciate you talking down to deadly terrain, sir.
I'm talking down to the terrain. I think.
You're actually about at the same level as it. If you were playing, you can talk down to it. That seems appropriate.
Are we going to see this charge? Why is this happening? Okay, look, Thomas. I don't see free people play a lot. I don't play against it a lot.
Prove 'em wrong.
Maybe this is the right decision.
You just turned Rob into the meme of the argumentative professor.
Yeah.
He's sitting out in the park with his coffee. Free guild guard are not going to be good enough at fighting to kill a Ghoul King on Terrorgeist.
Change my mind.
Rolled a 7 on his 5-inch charge, so he's going to get in there.
Can I get the chat? Because the chat helped me out loads. Greco, thanks for joining the Knee Stabbing Gang, and Flukesy, thanks for donating
Flukesy.
that. My question is, do you guys think that the free guild guard... so the charge has been made. It was a charge of...
It was a 5-inch charge. He made 7.
7. Okay. 5-inch charge made a 7. So he's not going to get loads of those models in. Also, smashing using that. I am a big fan of using tape measures, sticks
Markers?
like that over tape measures. I think they're far more accurate.
I would love to use a 6-inch stick at any point in my life. I'm lucky to get a 2.5-inch movement gauge.
So we haven't seen the so you guys,
It may not be a long movement gauge, but it is what it lacks in length that makes up for with how skinny it is.
this is why Jacob's here, everyone, to make sure we stay on track with the
Now it looks like Thomas is taking his
what
his
he's
charge.
doing.
He may end up within 6 inches of that center.
But the Ghoul King
objective.
Terrorgeist is going to attack. Is he going to try and charge in here? And then, does he think that maybe the Celestin Prime is going to do it? Maybe.
I think we're either watching brilliant, beautiful mind level tactics that's way beyond us, or potentially a couple mistakes.
That's the problem with that. And Thomas and Tanya, thank you very much for being on the stream. If you're watching this back, that's the problem with watching new players who I've never met before. I'm like, are you great? Or is
are
this
you
a
awful?
shitty move?
Right.
I can't decide.
This is why you still think highly of me. You've never seen me play.
This is either 4D chess or this is running straight into a wall.
And Web
It's one
Palette
of those
Warrior
two.
says he would not charge, would not make that charge with the free guild. I wonder if we think that between the Celestin and the guard, that's a good charge.
Yeah, I mean, if the Celestin...
Tanya doesn't have command points, so she cannot fight a second time. She will not be able to increase her damage output.
But if she dies, she can still fight on death. So
for a command point, which she doesn't have.
She has none. Thank you very much for
It's the number- it's the
reinforcing
number
that point you
one
told me.
Fewer than 1.
Fewer than 1, 0. To quote Russell Peters, 0. Okay. So I think... So here we go. So Celestin Prime is going to be
Great
doing
kill,
a charge.
who just subscribed, thanks to Flukesy, thinks the Prime better charge.
But so the Prime's got 2 options.
The Prime is rolling the charge, I think, right now.
he's-
Oh, no, that was a lot more dice than the Prime would charge.
We're going to find out
Oh,
if...
so the Prime is not charged.
So I wish you could get like you didn't see that then, but
You're all missing out on great TV here with Rob just struggling to understand the tactics behind these choices.
right. What? Why?
All right, so how many saves is the Ghoul King making right now against the guard?
She is Gristle Gore.
The Ghoul King
It's a
saved
Gristle Gore
them
list.
all. Yes.
It's a Gristle Gore. Yeah, this is actually the general that we're still seeing on the board, which is the Gristle Gore general, or is the Gristle Gore general that died? We'll just get that from our table boss. Maybe.
So Tanya's now fighting because she made every save with the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist.
Oh, what a
And that is the
surprise!
general. That's the swing first general.
Is this... Okay.
You may have been right, Rob.
I know I was right. Like,
may
but
have
I thought
been.
it made me
Potentially.
question myself. Okay.
That's all I try to do here is just make you question your reality.
JJ number 10 in before the guard unit gets wiped. Yeah. So, and also that Ghoul King on Terrorgeist is still the one that's got the D3 extra attacks.
Correct.
It's more
and
attack.
a 5-up DPR.
It's more attack is rerolling to hit.
Looks like 4 dead guardsmen so far.
So it's a swing of 2 points. Let's talk about that.
If
those objectives are still held at the end of this turn, so that unit has to still be on the board. Risky business whether or not it is actually still on the board. That's the big question.
We shall see. Stay tuned to find out.
Please stay tuned.
We're going to be, between games, we're going to be doing our new segment, 11 different things about Ghoul King on Terrorgeist that makes them bent. Number 6 may surprise you.
Number 7 is the one you know already. And Zircon, what is he thinking? What I'm thinking is he's got a lot of LED lights. They're quite distracting.
Ooh, squirrel.
Yeah,
piece of candy.
maybe he's like,
What
look,
piece of candy?
this is distracting. I'm not sure. Are you allowed to charge the turn you bring down the prime? Yeah, you are, of course. Otherwise, it would be stupid and no one would take it. Like, so I don't know if you
we're
can.
losing a lot more.
I'm just going to
guard.
zoom in there and show you that is a lot.
11 more dead guard. Now, they are 11 total dead guards so far. To quote a close personal friend of mine, those models look great in his dead pile.
So the play that we thought he shouldn't do got
He's
made.
re-rolling his battle shock.
It's still bad, FYI.
He rolled an 8 on his battle shock.
Okay, so that would mean he's going to lose about 10 more.
He will probably be losing, about 10 more, which means he will still have models here to claim the center objective.
Yes.
If he's smart, he'll keep at least 4 there. He'll still claim the center objective, which is a 2-point swing for him.
But what?
And if he's got it, the ghouls ran away, which is also very helpful for Thomas because if he has simply 2 models here within 6 inches, he's only losing 3 more guard.
Oh, okay.
Now, it looks like he'll be able to claim both of those objectives, which means that's going to be, he's going to score 4 points this turn.
So maybe that's right. Maybe what he's done here, which I think is a smart play, is he's effectively locked in the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist. So even if he
cannot, even if he does, if Tanya does win priority.
Yeah. So the priority roll here.
Retain priority.
Yeah. So whatever happens for the priority roll for turn 3, that does mean that this unit is gonna. Be locked in for combat. So
even though those guard will die, he's going to be able to shoot in his turn with all of these crossbows and all of these handgunners.
Are going to fire in. This looks very much how my
very good
country
for
tried
Thomas.
to fight your country a couple of 100 years ago. Lines of handgunners walking slowly forward.
And giant undead dragons and bat monsters.
Wait, is that not? The Earth is flat, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good.
I don't understand the question. How does that relate here?
I was
What are you
worried.
talking about? You've been watching too much Bob Lazar.
I've seen a lot of Alex Jones, and I really do know that.
Look, I may be kind of dumb. That may be the case.
Malekith, I agree with
So Tanya
you.
has retained priority, but she will not be able to move that Ghoul King into the models that matter.
Yeah. So hold on. So she won the priority roll, and she kept the turn. We'll find that out from the tabletop because that's really important. I would have, even if I was her, I probably would have taken it.
And the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist is now fresh again. He's re-healed his wounds.
So as you can see, so 4 points have been brought back. Yeah. So there's a difference now of 4 between the 2 players going into battle round 3. Why I think this is important is because I think that Tanya's still going to be able to get enough points together because there's nothing fast left in Thomas's army.
The Celestin Prime is kind of fast.
Unless once the Celestin Prime dies, is what I was going to say.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Maybe I'll let you finish a thought this time.
it's okay. Which is why the Celestin Prime, had he come here and been dealing here.
Now, if Thomas is able to keep the 3 objectives he currently has, he'll be scoring 4 points a turn to Tanya's 2. which means the deficit of 4 will be overcome by turn 5 unless Tanya can take an objective back from Thomas.
Which, and as the guys in the chat are saying, big love to you guys. I think you've got a few screams here. You've got and you've also got the Terrorgeist scream. So you could effectively see the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist freed up in the shooting phase.
It looks like Tanya's hero phase, her casting has all gone flat. She couldn't achieve a single spell.
So no extra D3 attacks, no extra
Mystic
5
Shield,
up,
no 5 up DPR.
and then currently that Ghoul King on Terrorgeist wounds wise is left on
fresh, full.
Full.
It healed.
It saved everything.
It saved. It had taken 2 wounds, but it heals D3 at every turn.
Of course, I mean.
Have you read these rules?
I have read these rules.
Okay, good.
Of course. I just sometimes forget.
The thing is, even if the game stays at the state it's in for the rest of the game, Thomas will eventually overcome the deficit he's at.
Yes.
So Tanya has to push for those objectives. She has to take objectives off of Thomas.
She does. Maybe also Thomas was actually trying to keep the Witch Hunter alive for his secondary.
Yes.
That's the thing, I guess.
And Tanya's trying to keep it alive for her secondary.
Interesting.
It's brilliant. What a great pack. What a world we live in.
Yeah. So,
Budtastic doesn't like his Honest Wargamer dice.
I'm sorry, but Budtastic's lovely. Also, big shout out to Budtastic's wife. Big fan.
Big shout out to Budtastic's butt.
Wife?
No.
And
Budtastic's butt.
Oh, yeah, and his butt.
Because I would say it is astronomical. So, it looks like after Tanya's hero phase. Oh, Crunk mode. Thanks, Crunk mode.
So what needs to happen here, in my opinion, for Tanya to take the game is these units need to come here, scream. All 3 of these units need to scream into those guard and get the Ghoul King or Terrorgeist free. I would have even maybe put an Arcane Bolt into it to commit to it. I then would charge here, and then that's effectively...
Tanya's out of command points.
Oh, okay.
What did she use her command point for?
She's also moved that unit of Flayers.
How?
With Deadwatch.
Oh, Deadwatch also gives you a move.
We'll find out exactly from our table boss how that unit has moved from where it was to where it is.
I know Blister Skin has a redeploy. I wasn't sure if Deadwatch had it also. Or she just flew.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, the command trait for the Gristlegore General.
We will get back to you on that. Do
Yep.
not worry. We will, Zircon ask.
They're Blister Skin.
Is it not a Gristlegore army?
Oh, this one is the Blister Skin list.
Fuck. Right, we only
Who decided to have 2 lists per player?
I'm so sorry, everyone.
I'm so good at this game.
I'm so sorry.
That's why it didn't swing first. It didn't matter. It didn't need to.
It didn't need to. But
it also means it wouldn't be able to fight after killed.
Yeah, she used. Thank you, J-Took. How did you know? Also, big love to you.
Yeah. Why aren't you announcing this, G-Took?
Yeah.
21. One of my favorite G-Tooks, although 3 less than G-Took 24.
What?
I don't know. Thanks.
So,
And Tyromancer joined the knee stabbing gang. Thanks, Tyromancer. 17 months. You're getting to work on your 3rd Arachnarok that you can stab.
Yeah, it's important because spiders normally turn up in 3s. They also give you puffy eyes.
Fun fact, Rob saved a damsel in distress and her unborn child from a monstrous spider, and he paid the penultimate, nay, the ultimate price after he rubbed his eye and the venom got in there and his eye got very puffy. We fixed it with frozen peas, though.
We did.
Paid the iron price. The iron price. Oh, that's very funny.
Right, so other tabletop, which the phase we're in is...
So more flayers in the center, which is going to be a problem for Thomas. So it looks like Tanya's going to be able to reclaim that center objective.
We're doing screaming is what we're doing currently. So we're in the shooting phase. We're in the shooting phase.
Did you guys like that scream? Did I kill any models?
I don't.
Was I out of range?
Did that break anyone's ears? I think that was fine.
Oh, I killed 3 models. How about
nice.
that?
Oh, congratulations.
I know we're supposed to be impartial, but I just had to jump in.
So well done. And then I imagine you're going to hear some more screaming here. Or maybe that unit was removed so you can't scream, but I think
right.
the screaming. will go in, and then it's not maybe going to be enough to free the Gorking on Terrorgeist.
This is going to present a real problem for Thomas with the screams.
Yeah. So FYI, we're in the shooting phase, so we already can't do it. I don't know what I would have done. Whether or not, do you think that's going to take out that unit? The screams from here into the Free Guild Guard right there. Is that going to take out that unit?
The Terrorgeist is going to do a lot. The screams are going to do a lot of damage there. So I think between this, now these are going to all be at minus. All three of the flayers are going to be at -2 each because they're not within 3 inches of those Free Guild.
Yeah.
So the effect is limited, but there's more of them. So it's more low value attacks, and then the Terrorgeist scream.
Only one died
from the flayers.
Oh, 2. Okay. So 2 more. That's not going to be enough. How many are left? How many are left in that unit? There's
5 left. So
the Gorking of the Terrorgeist can free himself out of this combat and then charge here or charge there. I would take out the Prime because A, this takes you away from the shooting in the next turn, which is all you really need to do. And then
plus those flayers can charge in.
Yes, yeah, exactly. They could charge in, but then if you do charge in, what you'll do is you'll allow more bodies to pile in here, which is not what you want to do.
11-inch charge coming in for the flayers.
Oh, so we're past the shooting phase.
It looks like all the screams are done.
The Gorking or Terrorgeist
is stuck in.
Damn it!
11-inch charge for the flayers. I wonder what they'll roll. Tune in next time to find out. Just kidding. We're gonna find out on this episode.
Yeah. They should really.
Oh, looks like they made the charge.
Yeah, they did. They made 11. That's a good roll. They're
they
trying to stay outside
good
of 3.
Tanya. That's a 1 in 12 chance to make an 11-inch charge.
1 in 12?
1 in 12.
1 in 12.
1 in 12.
Juan. Okay.
Let me ask you a question, Rob.
Yeah, go for it.
How British am I?
You're so British. You are so British that I think you could potentially become an Earl of Sluffenflicks.
Sluffenflicks. Is that next to Worcestershire?
It's right next to it, sir. It's right next to it. Fantastic. I like listening to Phaetonic. Thank you for subscribing, by the way. I love listening to I'm Some Confused Rob. Honestly, what's exciting?
Phaetonic, thanks for subscribing.
American AOS, it seems, in round 1 is interesting AOS.
You're welcome.
I
did this. This is me.
I imagine this is
us. This is us.
This is us. This is dealing with the objective here, is the plan. However, it is Tanya. So Tanya's currently active in Battle Round 3, first player. So Thomas is going to get to fire back. So all of this is going to welter there, allowing the Celestin Prime, who has been a bit of an idiot, and he's not
bit of a dunce.
Yeah, he's just not near enough. He can.
Can I say bit of a twat?
He's been a bit pillock, is how I describe him. And he's not close enough.
The handgunners are getting to shoot now at the flayers because they ended a charge within 3 of part of their great company. The mediocre company to this point.
This is not.
It's not. He doesn't have another choice.
He had.
Who else can he can't
she
shoot?
She had so many choices.
But who else can Thomas shoot at?
No, Thomas is making the right decision.
You're not shaking your head at Thomas.
No, I'm shaking my head at the charge.
Oh, sure.
Listen, if you both are listening back, I love you loads. Understand that I love Warhammer and I travel the world watching people play.
Weird flex, but okay.
Sometimes I just don't know what to say. I'm like, why? Why am I seeing this? This is not the play, bro. This is not the play.
Now, it does look like Tanya at this point should have a pretty healthy handle on both of the objectives she lost last turn, which if she then takes control... If she takes control here and here, that's going to put her at another 6 points, which would definitely put her out of reach for Thomas.
Yes, and it's game winning. Now Tanya's also won both priority roles here, so that's been quite important. But it also does mean that Thomas has been set up for the double both times and hasn't actually been able to get it. There's 30 handgunners.
The handgunners are 30, the crossbows are 30, and the original unit of guard was 30. Then we've got a small unit on the side of 10 great swords. Mediocre swords at best.
Yeah. I mean, they have been, untouched. And realistically, I don't know at this stage, Jacob, because they're going to die. They're going to die, you get that, the flayers. So they've charged in to die.
The flayers are dead. There would have been another round of shooting from the crossbows afterwards.
Orc Boy Phil, thank you for subscribing. Also, thanks for saying get better. I'm getting better.
Orc Boy Phil.
Because I'm talking about Warhammer.
16 months. He finished off his second Ragnarok.
Yeah. Orc Boy Phil's cool. Everyone who watches is cool. Look at the guys in here. Wet Pallet Training, Tatfish.
The Terrorgeist is about
Pokey
to be
John.
attacking. The Terrorgeist is about to attack those poor guard.
Did the flares die?
The flares died.
Did they
to shoot.
literally charge to die?
They do. That's what happens against Free Guild.
That's a zero-sum game.
That is some zero game right there.
I'm mad and furious at that. That decision.
Only one dead Free Guild guard so far.
But King or Terrorgeist?
Tune back in to find out how many die on the next set of attacks.
Or
stay tuned in. We're going to keep telling you what's going on.
Yeah, I personally.
And that is the Free Guild guard gone.
Okay. So that's the end of Tanya's turn. So she is going to score. I don't think she's going to score this top objective here. So she's still going to score the center and 2 bottom objectives.
She should score at least 4, if not 6. It depends how many of the handgunners are within range of that objective.
Well, it only has to be 1. There we go.
It only needs to be 1, exactly. Okay,
Yeah.
so it looks like Tanya's only scoring 4.
Okay. So that puts her on 14.
Now, from here, it looks like what I expect to see Thomas do, or Thomas's only real course of action here, is to use the windshield wiper approach. So he's got to push forward to start claiming objectives, moving these crossbows up here to also shoot, and these handgunners have to move up and shoot here. He's got to take off all of those threats that are going to take objectives back off of him. And
Sorry, that's what he should have done last turn?
that's what he's going to have to do now if he wants to win.
Yeah.
It may be too little too late, but at this point, he's got to push. And I assume we're going to see the Celestin Prime move this way. Because if the Celestin Prime...
He's not going to. He's not going to, Jacob. Jacob, he's going to go. He's going to go into the bloody Gore King on Terrorgeist, isn't he? Watch. Look, he measured it. He's going to. Yep. Oh my Christ.
Well, that seems to be the thing that we did identify as the choice that we wouldn't make.
It's not why I look at it.
But it is an awfully pretty choice.
I mean, like, narratively, I'm all about it.
It is a stunning choice.
Nashville is a town of singers and poets and absolute heroes.
It's the birthplace of Bob Dylan.
Is that true?
Nope.
Oh, wow. Got me. #bird.
If you had watched the TV show Nashville, you would know.
Wasn't he born in Sheffield? Bloody Sheffield?
Bob Dylan?
Yeah.
You made that up too.
Is he born? Oh, who cares? Who cares? Right, so let's talk about what you can do.
So right. So it looks like those crossbows are coming up like we identified. And
can I just, Sircon in the chat, I agree with everything you've just said, including all of the capital letters. He's making the move in turn 3 that he could have made in turn 2.
That's a great tactical idea. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure Celestin Prime does not let him go back in time to change those decisions.
I want to turn back time.
If I could find a way.
The issue is
tactics.
Potentially. Now, what could happen, because he's good, so he's going to shoot, yeah? Oh. So he's going to shoot into this unit of flares. He's going to remove the 2 closest, so it's going to be an even longer charge. He might be in range now to outscore, that's fine. Now, what you do with this unit of flares in the next turn, if Tanya gets priority, just move them away, so there just isn't the range to get to the objectives.
Yep.
Keep scoring and racking up the points. And then she's like, Age of Sigmar is really interesting because it's a 5-turn game. When you commit on turn 1, you have to decide where you're scoring the points for later on.
How do you get the gold? How do you put it in your pants? Also, which pocket of your trousers do you put it in?
So it's like the opposite of like the old Sylvaneth build. So the old Sylvaneth builds, what they used to do is they used to drop turn 1, bang all the objectives, hold it, and then just look to get.
Those of you at home, he means claim all the objectives.
Yeah, just absolutely fist hammer.
Just ravage those objectives. Just take them right to score town.
Yeah, you just put a flag on them.
And then you start playing war.
Like Jacob, your countrymen do in most other countries.
Yeah, just plant a firm rod of steel with
American flag
on the back of it.
Right down.
Right up in there, as far as it'll go. And then you play Warhammer.
Absolutely. Oh my God!
I think I broke Rob.
I can't look at that Celestin Prime. It's not you.
It's so beautiful.
So let's do some quick
some projection.
Maths. Yeah.
2 + 2 is 4. -1 is 3. Quick maths.
Quick maths.
The ting goes scrap.
Scrap.
Bra, bra, bra.
Hold on. So we're now in the shooting phase. We're going to make sure we get that. Yeah.
Now those handgunners did not move, which means they will not be able to help Thomas get to any other objectives. That presents a problem.
It does, because you've got the guard here. Yeah.
Right, so those... those handgunners really probably, in order for Thomas to win, those handgunners would have needed to come this way. Even though they're slow, they could start to move that way, still shoot at the Terrorgeist, and then be ready to run next 2 turns here and all the way out to the objective. Now, there were 16 hits at -1 rend going through. I'm not sure if this is from the handgunners or the crossbows.
No, so yeah, I was right.
Handgunners shooting at the GCOT.
So the reason the handgunners didn't move is they do get a bonus.
Tanya has taken 5 wounds, so there's 7 wounds allocated currently to that Ghoul King on Terrorgeist. So there are 7 left.
Okay.
Halfway there. Oh, we're halfway there.
Oh, we're halfway there.
Living on a
neither
judgment.
of these armies
prayers
have
are
a
different
prayer.
thing. No, neither one gets to pray.
No, neither one gets to
No.
pray. I've got to say that...
you just destroyed my yellow brick road.
I'm sorry. The Free Guild handgunners do get +1 to hit if they don't move. So that was a decision there, so which isn't like bad.
The
but
Celestant Prime just charged. Did we not have the crossbows shooting the flares?
we're going to find out
The
about...
crossbows did not shoot the flares. Who did the crossbows shoot?
Did the crossbows shoot at all, or did they run?
They ran. The crossbows ran to get in range.
Holy fuck.
It looks like Thomas is kind of banking on winning this priority.
Yes, he is. He is absolutely. So we're going to see the...
it looks like the handgunners have fired because you can see the clouds of smoke.
Yeah,
out
so
in front
is
of
the
them.
Celestant Prime going to kill the Ghoul King or Terrorgeist? What do we think? If it does, it's going to be a big deal. Yeah.
The Celestant Prime has 6 attacks. Number 3...
A particularly old fella has just decided to
Might
take some
catch you off guard.
photos at the table.
Everyone here who's not AOS is a particularly old fella.
This
This is a historical gaming convention.
I'm enjoying it, though.
I'm enjoying you. But yeah, AOS, which normally has a middle-aged player base, are young and spry and in shape and fit compared to most of the rest of this convention. Sorry, Flames of War.
Gwenda,
Hashtag spit
Gwenda-
hot fire.
So here we go, Celestant Prime. Yeah, is he going to kill
attacks
the
coming
Ghoul
in.
King on Terrorgeist?
He
As we know,
changed one of the-
there isn't a 5+ DPR, which didn't go off in the magic phase. That's huge. We might see the Ghoul King on
Immense
Terrorgeist lifted,
and throbbing.
and then even then, the game has not going to have changed.
Not enough.
Not enough. Here we go. Here
The
we
saves, how did Tanya do on those 5 saves?
go. Not enough. Ghoul King on Terrorgeist.
4 went through.
So that's
3
12
damage. Apiece,
damage.
that should be 12 damage.
So it's a dead Ghoul King on Terrorgeist, but it's got 12 6-up saves.
After damage save, she's
So-
got a 6-up.
6-up. Oh, that's quite a few. Here we go.
Nope, it looks like that Ghoul King on Terrorgeist is gone. Going to do D3 Mortal back. So 2 damage to the Celestant
2 damage from
from the dead Terrorgeist to the Celestant Prime.
Okay. All right,
But-
so there we go. The Ghoul King on Terrorgeist again. So Tanya and the Fleshy Corpse really don't have any bully units left. They're left with the Arc Regent, who's in this bottom left-hand corner here. 4 flayers here and 4 flayers here. Going into the priority roll for turn 4. However, there's going to be 2 points scored here, so it's going to be 14-8. And there's going to be
Thomas have more than 4 models within range of the objective? They do. Whoa, he scored all of them.
He
scored every single one on the board.
He's got every
Ladies
point.
and gentlemen,
He's the king.
he's the new Ghoul King.
Don't worry,
I'll tell you
our
what.
table boss is just going to resolve that issue for everybody.
Yep, so
as you can
Thomas
watch him
is gonna score-
hilariously struggle.
Ah, there
to
we go
change
again. All
the,
8 points.
There we go.
Now we're going green. Back to blue.
Back to blue. This is really fun, especially as we know John will be getting more stressed as he does everything.
Yep, there it is. All right. And the priority roll goes to...
The priority roll has been rolled for, and it's gone to
Nope, he's still playing with colors.
the priority
I would
roll.
love to know who won priority. Tanya won priority, which
So
means
Tanya
that
wins the game.
if she plays it in a canny fashion,
Agreed.
still hers to lose.
Very much so. So what she needs to do...
It's 14-10, so Tanya is still winning. Now, all Thomas has to do to pull a draw, or which would I think be a minor... Oh, Speckles. Oh, you subscribed. I don't think he knows that he knows me. Let me tell you a fun story. I've actually met Speckles. We had a beer together.
We did,
We
at
shared-
Warhammer World.
At Warhammer World.
And we hung out and chatted for a couple of hours.
Right, exactly. It was lovely. He met my wife.
But he doesn't know he knows you. He just knows you as those American guys.
That American dude.
Yeah.
Yep. And the Archers is casting on the crit players in the center. It looks like the plus D3 damage.
Okay, so
D3
so you've got two options here. Yeah, you got two options.
It looks
with
like it was successful.
You've got two options with these flares. These flares either come in and they commit, and then they can either try to hold the objective because the objective was worth 2. But what they want to do, and I please hope this doesn't happen, is they don't commit here. They commit deep here,
right,
and then attack. The reason I say that is because what you want to do is keep all of these forces as far away from charging here as possible. Like similarly here with the Celestant Prime,
Archer
you want to
just cast a Mystic Shield as well on the guys in the back to keep them alive.
They're definitely going in. So we know that. Your other option is just to uncommit and then just hold. Yeah. And then not let them shoot, not lose the unit, and then this unit needs to drop back and go as far away 6 inches as possible. So 6. So the Celestant Prime has got the longest charge possible to go take that objective.
I'm not sure I agree with you, because at this point, Thomas has 10, Tanya has 14, which means that if Thomas scores the 4 points he currently holds, and she scores 2, it comes out a draw and it comes down to kill points, which neither of them want. They both want the major victory. So I think Tanya needs to score one more time to stop mathematically Thomas from being able to win the game.
Which is why we're seeing the commit in here, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it's just this is all you need to commit, but what you don't want to do is allow this to get taken early doors. Like you don't want to be here, right, and then just have the unit be alive and then just be able to bunny hop on the turn after. Yeah, it's all like a lot of it. Like if you're going to lose a unit or commit a unit, you need to see where your opponent is going to.
She's using the Blister Skin redeploy.
Oh my
with
god!
Her command ability
Here, I hope we see here. Okay.
Over on the side towards the swordsman.
Okay. I mean, I don't hate that idea.
I didn't see that coming. I'm a little confused who was able to use that command ability without her heroes near that unit.
Okay.
Oh, that's a Vargulf in there in the middle.
Okay, this is a Vargulf here.
The Vargulf was able to activate that ability.
Hey everyone! Oh shit! The beautiful and voluptuous voice of Jacob Berry Power Rob.
Oh, Jared, I love you, Jared. That dude, if I was to use a single word to describe him, is dope.
Oh, dope ass.
He's
dope AF.
Dope.
So, can we just?
This just in: Joseph M. Pagano has been victorious over Brendan Melnick, the Lord of Undeath.
Really?
This was projected as a game that Joe Pagano might have a tough time with. It was feck on feck, but Joe Pagano was successful. I know that's not commentating on the game that we're currently talking about,
but you're
it's
excited.
The only game that really
He's
matters.
your bro. He's your bro. You're excited. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Exciting.
He's my brother from another mister.
Yeah.
No, sister from another mother. Fuck. I'm gonna get it right one of these times.
So
can I say the fuck word?
Well, you have. So too late, baby.
Okay.
Scream low for your bravery, people. So we're going to see the engagement here and the Vargulf go in and engage on that objective, which is interesting.
What's smart about that move on Tanya's behalf is if she's able to claim that objective, she'll be scoring 3 points because she'll be getting both the ones on the left side. Now I don't know how she can.
I mean, that would also be true on the other one as well. Like because so you score. So as you can see on the.
If she scored the middle, she would be scoring 3 points this turn as well.
Yes.
So it's really
and
she's
and also she has to make also make a 9-inch charge in this situation.
And she's out of command points.
Whereas here you didn't have to do that at all. You just had to go, but she might not have thought she could go through that unit in that center.
It does give her two chances to make that charge, although she could have done it with either unit.
Yeah. No 4 points.
So we need a 9-inch charge.
So she has to make this 9-inch charge.
No, I'm sorry. This is screaming, and she's screamed off.
Why would you take the ones at the back and not the ones at the front?
Dead.
Why wouldn't you take the ones at the front to make the charge longer? Why wouldn't you? Dear holy fuck Christ. Yeah. I apologize, everyone. I'm getting so emotional. I'll be calmer in case my heart explodes. Yeah, because this is 9-inch. If you take out this, you at least make it a 10-inch charge.
Or an 11-inch charge.
It doesn't matter. That's the way you play Warhammer. If anyone, listen, if you're listening at home.
The players just failed the 9-inch charge, so it didn't matter.
It does matter.
Down boy. Deep breathing.
If anyone who is at home, this unit here, right?
They failed the charge. I know the tactics were wrong, but they failed to charge.
Right. That's okay. Thank you, everyone. I will kick off. Now, everyone at home that doesn't...
Is the Vargolf going to charge, though? I think it has to, right?
Yeah, Vargolf charges and goes in.
She's
Whether or
already
not this
committed at
unit
this
is
point.
within 6 inches, we'll find out. We are currently in turn 4 or battle round 4, and it's the first turn is gone to Tanya, so flesh sheet of courts. Thomas has had the opportunity to potentially get the double turn every battle round and
he
hasn't
quite
had
gotten
it.
it.
Tanya's
So
won every priority
If
roll.
Tanya was able to claim this point, right? So Tanya failed that 9-inch charge. But if Tanya was able to claim this objective, she would have then gotten +3 for holding these 2, as well as +1 for holding her own back objective there. So she would have still had her 4 points.
Those. You get them for
No.
you get them for holding perpendicular
No,
in focal points. Yeah.
that's a different one.
Take an hold. Okay. Well, either way. Okay. Good. Sure.
Tanya's turn has ended, so she's scoring her 2 points. So this is where Thomas can capitalize.
Well, it's game.
Thomas needs to.
But she could have just flown this unit and attacked here, and that would have like you wouldn't have needed to.
But by threatening his backfield, it gives Thomas the opportunity to misplay. She's definitely giving him opportunities to
But at
lose
this
the
point,
game.
he's down. Well,
Oh boy, there's the Celestin Prime.
what a shock! Which is exactly which is exactly what I said. If you were here, he might have made the poor call and ended up coming here with the Celestin Prime.
Right.
Also, we didn't move this back even a little bit. That's its maximum move. Yeah. We
I
could
don't
have.
know if it ran.
We
That's
could.
an important
Did the
question.
Celestin Prime run? Did the Celestin Prime run?
I hope not.
Did the Celestin Prime run? Is the question.
If it did, it will be in really bad position here, because it can't claim the objective this turn. Just moved it 12 inches, great. So it's going to be dropping its comet, and then it's also going to be getting into fight. Now it's unfortunately it's got to kill.
It didn't run.
It did not run.
So again, had Tanya just moved, so here, that's 3. You could be within 6, so you could be here, so that you could have made this, instead of this very easy 3-inch charge, you could have potentially made it be a 6-inch charge. And I know the Celestin Prime can reroll a dice, but this is why Warhammer's great. Is it's all risk versus reward. It's all making little different changes. Like that, this 9-inch charge, which deep striking units have to make, is statistically not
Not super likely. It's a 30% chance.
Yeah, it's below half, right? And so what's really
30%. This just in, below half. You heard it
below
here
half,
first.
yeah. And so if you can then turn that into a 10 or 11, you're dropping those percentages even lower.
Yep.
Right? And same here. And you can win the game because someone didn't make something, and forcing someone to make just a little bit of a harder statistical roll is what the game's about.
Absolutely. It's about the little choices you make that make your opponent's dice have to save them, as opposed to
like this game, and like everything we do at Warhammer, it's the lessons we learn on the way.
that was the true Ghoul King on Terrorgeist inside of us the whole time.
Okay.
Now, the
So
Celestin Prime, in order to claim this bottom objective, is going to have to, with his Comet, do enough damage to both the Flayers and to the Archregent there, and then on the charge do, again, enough damage to wipe both units entirely. Because if one model survives from either of those 2 units, it's going to be a tie. And there's no such thing as, you can't take an objective off someone with a contest.
You can't
have to have more models within 6.
You can't tie in Age of Sigmar. It's
The
just
Free Guild General is now moving. I don't know where he's going. I know he's on a horse.
he's gone over here. So
okay.
he was previously here. He's gone over here
Okay.
just to double hold that objective. But at this point, it isn't going to matter because you're going to see, I assume, you're going to see this shooting go into the Flayers.
Never assume.
Never assume.
Never
Not
assume.
in this game. And now it's just dealing with all of the threats.
Yep.
But this backfield's just done for anyway. This is going to collapse over the turn into the priority roll. Into the priority roll for Thomas. If Thomas just gets it, he just wins the game straight out on points. If Tanya gets it, then she can play back. But the counterplay from Thomas, because he's got more threats late game. And this is what we're talking about with the Celestin Prime, right? And what we're talking about with the Ghoul Kings on Terrorgeist. What you want is to definitely win the game at the end
Right.
and not lose it because you've run out of pieces to play.
Right.
And that's what you found out. That's what's happened here.
This is also part of why we chose this matchup, is because it had the potential to end turn 1 or to be a really tight game to the very end.
Apparently, I'm Howard Cecil, and you are Kossel, and you are John Madden.
And that's football.
And that's Football. I'm just going to tell you clean and straight. He should have charged.
So he did charge. Or she did charge.
She did charge.
Succeed.
She did charge. By the way, Tanya, I'm so sorry. Like,
We're
massive
just
props
so
on being
used-
a lady wargamer.
Yeah, big ups. Takes a real big pair. So these crossbows are now shooting at the flares. If the crossbows can wipe that unit of flares, this game is ostensibly done.
It is over.
Over like Dover. I haven't seen a route like this since I pulled up MapQuest this morning.
Route. It doesn't work in the English language, that joke, because it's a route for us.
But it's still so he was he rooted him, right?
Yeah. No, we say route for the military term for like destroying a unit.
Okay.
But route for a journey.
I'll destroy your unit.
It works in America. All the Americans listening are like, great joke, Jacob Berry. And then JJ, who's
that's mean.
then-
Budtastic guy just said we have a dab of Tony Romo, the worst commentator in the history of the NFL.
oh wow, well, but that's good. I'm okay with that.
What's that?
I'm okay with that. We're learning. This is our second to third. Can't say rodeo apparently. So
Second or third time at the show.
yeah.
It looks like there's one flare remaining after the crossbows have fired. The question is, how is the Celestin going to be able to do in his fight?
Oh, so he should wipe the flares. The flares have only got 5 saves, so he won't get save against that. So every wound he gets through is just going to wipe out a flare. There's also, but what's interesting about
What's
that
interesting, Rob?
is it's whether or not this is within 6 units. So this is his
Within
arc
6
region,
6 inches?
6 inches.
It appears to be from the
Because
scale, but it also, the question is if they're measuring to the side of the objective or the center.
so in order to hold the objective and actually claim it, he's going to have to wipe out both of
The
those.
crossbows are double shooting because they did not move and they've wiped those flares.
Oh, color me surprised.
Surprised! You can't see this, but I'm touching Rob's face. I don't think he liked that very much. I wish you got that on camera. This just in. I am inside of Rob Symes. My finger was in his ear. I've been inside of him. It is Jacob you here co-hosting. Thanks for tuning in, Martin Orlando.
Oh,
what a
big
babe.
shout out.
What a babe. It looks
Okay.
like the Celestin Prime.
So can we get from our table boss whether or not
Looks like the Celestin Prime's shooting was unable to take out any of the flares or the archery.
can I find out whether or not the arc region is in fact within 6 inches of the objective, because that's going to massively shift the game. Because it means that Thomas isn't going to hold that, and that if Tanya wins a priority, she might actually get the win.
She would
Maths
get 2
wise?
points. No, she wouldn't, because then the Celestin is either able to kill here or just run across there.
There we go. Okay,
If he
so
runs
that's
across either way, Thomas is scoring the extra points, and I think he'll have the win.
fine. Okay. Easy
So
peasy.
the only thing that could do it, the Celestin Prime only has 8 wounds, and he's taken 2. If those flares don't die right now,
They're
they could
so
swing back
going to
and
die
kill
right
it.
now.
They're probably going to die right now.
They're going to die more than me when pumpkin spice lattes come back. Yeah, and I will be, oh my God,
Listen
so
here,
ready to
you
totally die.
Basic bitch. You put on your Uggs, you go out there and you
I will
just...
be so ready to die. It's
Would you look
unbelievable.
at that?
Would you
Would
look at that? Number
Look
RF5,
at it.
thank you for donating.
Look at that.
200
And the flares are
bits.
dead. We've
Would
got
you
some
look at that?
Would you look at
Would you
that?
look at that? They're so dead.
Incredibly dead. Extra dead.
However, he hasn't held the objective because
Hashtag so dead right now. Those flares are like Ben Sava, so dead right now.
he's alive, isn't he? Isn't he
No,
alive
he's-
and well?
I hope so. Shout out to Ben Sava. Love the Bruces. Now, it looks as though, so Thomas is going to score 4, and it's going to be Tanya's lead by 2. If Thomas wins priority, like Rob said, Thomas just wins the game because he'll score more points than Tanya can. For Tanya to win at this point, she's going to have to take an objective off of Thomas, which is going to be a real challenge. Now, Rick Moomin, thanks for subscribing, Rick Mormon. Mormon? We have Mormons in the U.S.
Yeah, he's a moor man. He actually
Mormon.
lives on a moor. A big shout out to Heathcliff.
Isn't
and
moor
everyone
also
in Wuthering
an
Heights
offensive term for a dark-skinned person?
from Arabia, but only during the Crusades. And that's really kind of an English problem, not you Americans. You've
So
absolved
I
yourself
can
of
say
that.
more.
Yeah, you're allowed to say it, but
Okay.
the English aren't.
Now, if Tanya wins priority, she's going to have a real uphill battle in order to...
There's an hour left
Well,
of the round.
Sounds like Thomas won priority, and that is going to probably be the game because Tanya will not be able to come back from that.
It absolutely
objective
is going to
deficit.
be the game.
So all that's left now is to dot our I's, cross our T's, and shout, take it off as much as possible.
Take it the hell off. While that's happening, we should be able to come back to the desk and line up our interview with Vince Ventrella later,
With Thomas to talk about all the LED lights he's been doing.
Yeah, we could also do that as well. We can come back to that interview after.
Wonderful.
We're just trying to show produce while also commentate. We could do that.
Outstanding.
Easy peasy.
It's not like we don't have 2 other people that are helping us produce while we're on the air.
Yes, but the first thing they're going to do is come back to us on the desk. You can,
Outstanding.
yeah, you can see us. So that is the game, as you can see it there, gentlemen. Oh my God, Sir Flukes-a-lot.
Fluxy.
Thank you for the
that free guild win.
5,000 bit donation for the free guild win.
Man. That is quite a bit of a donation.
It's huge. Is shooting what's actually coming back?
Shooting is here. The shooting meta has returned.
You crazy
Piotrek
motherfucker,
Romanu,
Sir
just
Flukes-a-lot.
subscribe.
I
Thanks,
love
Piotrek.
you. I love you so much.
Outstanding. Thanks for the bits,
No,
Fluxy.
come to us. Come to us. That's been an amazing game. That beautiful Celestin there. Welcome back.
Welcome back,
Hello.
ladies and gentlemen.
This
you
is
can
Rob.
finally see our beautiful, ugly mugs. I'm Jacob with The Honest Wargamer, presented by the Rage of Sigmar Media Network Production Conglomerate Entertainment Suite.
I found this T-shirt in a Lost and Found. Is where I found it. It's
I'm fucking taking it back as soon as we're done here.
so.
Also, you're on double secret probation. One more, and that's going to come up on your performance review.
Shit. Hey, you guys, thank you for joining us for this game. We've got some more stuff to talk about before we go home. There we go. Jacob's cracking open a cold one. Did you guys enjoy the game? Let us know in the chat. I'm excited. So the reason we put that on, we want to talk about shooting versus combat.
Yep.
What we saw instead was a hilarious set of misplays, which culminated in me having a small aneurysm. But
as long as it wasn't close to your heart, it's going to be fine.
Yeah,
and if it was, we're sending you back to Canada on Monday anyway.
Exactly. What did you? So shooting, the ability to project power in a game instead of just charging in. Now, it being ballistic in the Orbital Strike's first thing doesn't particularly matter, but we did see those Free Guild Guard charge in, which was to a detriment on their part.
Absolutely. The choice not to pile in around those Free Guild generals and start fighting the bodies that the Free Guild had on the table early, I think was a misplay on Tanya's part.
I think so as well. I think it's a really interesting game, but you got to see how shooting can effectively deal with units. Those flayers just got wiped in the middle, and eventually we saw the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist dealt with as well. Could we get the map up, please, Colin? That would be real fun. I want to talk about how I think I would have played through this game.
Absolutely.
And then see what you guys think.
Do you want to be the Free Guild player or do you want to be the Feck player?
I'm gonna play as Feck.
Okay, then I'll play as Free Guild.
Okay. So the Free Guild, as we saw it established here, as you can see up the top, they went defensive, and then these 2 circles that you can see are their
hashtag bait.
Yeah, they're the bait, exactly.
Turns out Thomas is an extraordinary baiter. He is a masterful tactician. I would describe him as a good friend and a solid player.
He's a lovely man also.
Masturbator.
So what you're seeing here, though, what we had available, we had our 2 Ghoul Kings on Terrorgeist here, and we had our units of Flayers. Yep. Now, what did happen in this situation, we had the 2 Flayers.
Thanks, Jebediah83.
The 2 Ghoul Kings on Terrorgeist go up, and we eventually saw a charge, and unfortunately that didn't pay out particularly well. And then you got into an ongoing combat, and you could have had both of these 2 units die here. What though?
That wasn't a player choice, though, as it turns out.
Yeah, that's not a player choice. Now, what I would have done, in my opinion, here, if I could
play
I've
an
never
army that doesn't
tried
exist.
to do this. Pardon me.
Is play an army that doesn't exist?
Yeah. I mean, there's also that. Can you delete that? Oh, there we go. It worked. I got it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first time I tried to do the sportsy stuff. What I would have done is I would have just put my unit of 3 Flayers. Oh, I now can't draw for some reason. Let's try and sort this out. I would have tried to put my unit of 3 Flayers here. Oh, in the center. Sorry, I've lost Telestrator power. What do we think?
Put them right here.
There we go. Yeah, I would have tried to put them there, is exactly what
Thanks,
I would have
Spawn
done.
3200.
I would have put my unit of 6 here and my unit of 6 here, and then I would have left my Ghoul Kings on Terrorgeist at the back. So then what would have happened? My unit of 3 in the middle and a 6 and 3 at the back. So then what would have happened is the Free Guild unit, the most they would have been able to do is send over the birds to come and deal with this unit in the middle, or move their kind of defensive field up.
Agreed.
Right? But then I would have scored the points. And the most I'd have lost in that first trade would have been 3. Then I would have given if I'd have won the priority, which Tanya did, I'd have given the turn away. Right? And then what you'd ended up with is I've got these 2 giant threats which you can't ignore, and then we're arguing for this center point.
And
Which
they're going to both be just going straight up there
but,
to hold this centerpiece right there.
They don't have to do that, because what he's had to do by his progression forward is he's given himself had to move into closer range, which means he can outflank with those very fast units while still hold, and he can also summon with the ghouls later to threaten. Can threaten with the ghouls later, but what she did was just committed straight in for no particular gain. Even if she had killed those 2, she just lost the shooting. It's just then it ended up with a Free Guild not doing the...
A couple of things to think about is often a high premium is put on having lower drops and being able to alpha strike.
Yes.
The thing is, Thomas's threat range was actually pretty limited. He wasn't going to be able to shoot her upon deployment, so she could sit back and force him to commit. And when you make someone commit and overextend, that's where you get the chance to start punishing them for moving their castle, separating, and losing their synergies.
Exactly. Like, it's a medium range army. So what you really want to do is you want to make that medium range army have to move forward. Because Thomas has got no first turn striking ability here. So if you deploy away, he's got no ability to get you in the first turn apart from charge. And you want to charge because that's what you do with combat, realistically.
Right. And we're now going to We're going to move over and get a little interview with a couple of the players from this round. So are we going to bring them over here, or do I take the mic out there?
Take the mic out there.
Take the mic. All right.
But before we do that...
Buy me time, Rob.
No problem. I can do that easily.
All right.
Before we do that, let's go to our infield interview that we had yesterday with Mr. Vincent Von Treller. This will be a long interview. And then after that, looking at his Slanesh army. And then after that,
back to the Honest Wargamer, presented by the Rage of Sigmar podcast network. We have with us the illustrious Vincent Venturella. Welcome to the show, Vince.
Hi, buddy. I don't think I've ever been called illustrious before, nor do I deserve that honorific, but it's nice of you.
I'm a really nice guy, and may I say, hello, friend.
Oh, thank you. You're making me feel at home now.
Good. So you feel comfortable, you're relaxed, you're a little eased up. I got to ask you the hard-hitting questions right off the bat.
Yep.
Vince,
ready.
For the last 2 years, you've been playing pretty much consistently Iron Jaws, a very aggressive army, an army that pushes forward and fights on its own terms as quickly as possible. Now, Slanesh is pretty much known for the exact same thing, with a couple extra added abilities and flexibilities to it. How would you say that this Slanesh list plays as you've been playing it in tournament games or on the tabletop?
Yeah, sure. Well, I want to reframe your question first.
No.
I'm doing that. Your question was, Vince, for 2 years you've been playing a bad army. Now you brought some whack nonsense.
That's not true. I said you're playing an aggressive army.
Yeah, I heard what's between the lines, okay? But the answer is I've been playing Slanesh much longer than I liked Orcs, because Slanesh is beautiful and awesome and everything that is good in life. Like, everybody loves ecstasy.
Hold on, we're going to get to paint later. Like, stop tooting your own horn. It's a beautiful army. We get it. You're good at painting.
It has nothing to do with that. I'm talking about themes. I am talking about the reason you pick up an army. It's because it communicates with you.
And is communicate code for boobs and butts?
I'm not going to say it's not code for that, but it's helpful.
How does it play on the tabletop compared to an army that was sort of one-dimensional to a degree?
Sure. It's very fun. I like 2 things. I like big giant monsters. I like hero hammer. And I like, melee fighting. And you can, Slanesh was built to be hero hammer, right? That's the whole idea. It's literally figure out your 6 heroes, and then nothing else matters. So there you go. It's the perfect army for me. Perfect sculpts, perfect way it plays. Good.
That sounds great. Now, when you say the 2 main things that matter to you, are you sure you're not referring to, and I'll reference earlier in our conversation, both or either boobs and or butts?
Again, I'm not going to say that's not what I'm referencing.
Stellar. Yeah. Now, You use a variety of models in here, both GW and non-GW sculpts. Also, some out-of-print GW sculpts. Shout out to the Juan Diaz Demonettes, which are terrific. Juan Diaz, in the traditional Spanish pronunciation. But if you were to point out one model that really drew your attention as a painter, because in my experience as a painter, you look at the model where the model tells you to paint, right? What was a GW model in this line that you really enjoyed as a truly prodigious artist? What was one that really drew your attention that you could, I would describe you as a top 3 worldwide talent from a paint perspective.
I would say you're wrong, but I appreciate that.
Well, you're wrong about me being wrong. Boom, roasted. Which one drew your attention the most and why?
All right. So definitely the new Keeper Secrets. Look, everything in the new line is incredible. New mask is amazing. Celeste is amazing. Thank you. Appreciate that. That puts me in the that puts me right in the Slanesh mood. No, I'm good. The new like harpist is awesome. Everything is good. Okay. That's all right. Yeah, it's fine. This is just we're doing it live. That's how it goes.
Delayed pleasure is Slanesh achieved.
Got a pleasure delay. That's very important. So, but the new Keeper is the queen. It's the best. We have waited all our lives for this model, and it showed up, and it's everything I always wanted it to be. It's amazing.
From a modeling perspective, are there any, so there's a bunch of different ways you can build this kit. Were there any parts that really spoke to you in terms of the way you can customize the multi-part kit?
Yeah, sure. Like the other goat head isn't good. I don't love that one very much. That's a bad head. But in general, beyond that, just like I think she's pretty perfect. Like the hand is, I think, the better looking option on the left. She's got good options. Yeah.
It also helps that that's the best one on the tabletop. It's got the best rules. It lets you heal, and which is perfect for your depravity.
Yeah, I didn't notice that actually. That's not why I picked it. It was just that I really like the aesthetic. I'm gonna stick with that.
Turns out Vince Venturella, confirmed liar. Next question. Now, you also incorporate a lot of non-GW models. You've got your creature caster. It looks like you've got some raging heroes in there. You're well known for getting some product early so you can paint it for the studio because they love your product, because obviously you're a terrific painter. What's one you would like to highlight here as the most fun to paint, specifically the areolas of that model?
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. First of all, I'm going to push back on this, like, me being this good of a painter thing. You're way too much building me up.
Maybe top 6, like worldwide.
You need to extend that by an order of magnitude at least. But anyways, it's the Queen of Ecstasy, which is the one up front here. Keep it coming. If you want to reach the other hand around, switch hands with the mic and kind of put this one back here, I'd be fine. There you go. You got to give both sides attention. But the Queen is where it's at. It's the Queen of Ecstasy.
And why would you say that? Can you give us some specifics on the model that you really enjoyed painting? From like what challenged you? What let you push yourself? How did you get to actually stretch the talent that is Vince Venturella, the prodigious talent that is hobby cheating?
I don't even know where to go with you, Jacob. But anyways,
you know exactly where to go, Vince.
Back to my room later, yes, to explore this Slanesh. There you go. All right. So the faces. She has really, really interesting faces all over her, like masks. She has all these masks up and down and on her legs and stuff. And they're just a lot of fun to paint because I looked up like traditional kabuki masks and the designs that they used on those and tried to match all of the traditional like Japanese designs. So.
Now, I haven't spent as much time looking at that kit as I have with the Keeper. Is there a multi-part to that kit that let you sort of expand and figure out which pieces you liked? And if so, which ones did you choose and why?
Well, again, it's the same way. Yeah, there's a couple different options, different heads, different stuff like that. But that head is the most feminine. And in general, I like them to either, I know that sort of the Slaneshish thing is being hermaphroditic, and that's fine. I have no issue with that. I like that in general as the aesthetic. But I like when the face feels more feminine. Something about that feels right. Unless you're going for like the bulky dude, like the king. There I went for the goat because dudes feel like goats.
Yeah. He is absolutely the goat. Now, in general, you tend to be pretty consistent with your painting. You tend to have a consistent level of, let's say, effort or attention-grabbing detail in every model or in every unit. And I noticed a couple things in this army that sort of stood out, and I would love for you to highlight a couple items that grabbed the eye for you as a painter that you intended to focus on that someone at home could try to replicate in the future.
Sure. So what I would say is never pass up an opportunity to do something fun, right? So like if you consider the Enrapturous like your harpist, right? One of the interesting challenges with her is balancing all the colors that are on her. And so one of the things I did is make the strings colored where she's touching them, and then match that to turning the icon, which a lot of people would just paint metal because it looks like metal, and you would just paint it metal, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can use those kinds of opportunities to like make things a different color. Just the icon or the strings, they can be whatever color you want. So why not go nuts? And then you can help. It adds more visual interest to the model. It helps you balance the colors. Just have fun with things. Don't feel like because a thing is leather now it has to be brown or whatever. You know, you can make it your own.
In true Rage of Sigmar fashion, I have to ask you a question that you haven't been prepared for. Right. If you were to take your 3 large characters that I assume you've put the most time and effort into, right? Not because you put more effort into one wall than another, but they're just bigger models. If you were to play the game Kill, Fuck, Marry with your 3 largest models, the 3 keepers you have on this board right now, yeah, sure. How would you rank them and why?
Well, that's a really, really good play. That's a really good question. All right, you've made me think deeply here. So,
how deep?
I mean, pretty deep. So
I would say that's at least like 7.5 inches deep. And pretty.
Scaling him up, he would be like 20 feet tall. I think you're vastly underestimating, my friend.
I do that a lot. Anyway, go on.
All right. So to be clear, I have like 6 keepers. These are the 3 I like to bring. But anyways, there you go. So okay, which ones? So we gotta play that game. Let's see. It's a tough thing. I would say probably kill the king, okay, because I'm not all the way on that side. I would say F the keeper of secrets.
Pretty sure you have to say the word for it to count.
I don't, but that's okay.
Fine.
The keeper of secrets, because that just seems like a good time, right?
No, there it is.
That's okay. It's all right. And then I would say marry the Queen of Ecstasy, because anybody with ecstasy in their name, it's going to be a good time. You're going to have a good time in that marriage.
Absolutely terrific. Now, one other thing that we hadn't had a chance to talk about is you put a lot of effort into creating the image of a mirror or an empty space where there's a portal going through, both with the Fane, the Epitome, as well as there's a mirror or 2 on the Fane's base that you did a really good job on. I would love for you to, if you could describe for somebody, a layperson, to try to replicate that without watching an entire hobby cheating video, which is made by, I'm pretty sure, one of the top 2 painters in the entire world. How would you advise someone to approach the idea of painting Trumpalloy, basically, where it seems like there's nothing there, but there actually is a full model?
I would just point out that the top 2 painters in the world certainly don't know my name, but that's okay. All right. So, yes, first off, you can watch a hobby cheating. It's not out yet. It will be out in a few weeks. I go through actually doing a full mirror so you can see the techniques I use. But the answer is you want a nice, smooth gradient. Start with a nice wet blend. Go with a black-gray is what you want as your base, with a white on the tip. But like a loaded brush or a wet blend is a good way to start. You want to bring the light down to the bottom like a gem, and you just blend it up into very dark colors, like into a blue-black. And then you just glaze over some turquoise, and you're done. It's really that easy.
And I think the takeaway for me, because I'm a very heavy glaze and wash painter, is make sure you have a matte finish. Because if I can see the surface, that means the surface is real. It doesn't just sort of go through the Fane. Hopefully our camera crew is smart enough to figure out how to focus in on either the Fane or the Epitome, because I did not prepare you guys for that at all. Any other final bits that you're sort of proud of that we didn't get a chance to touch on that you'd like to highlight for the viewers?
I don't know anything in particular. I'm happy with how it all came together. It's a really fun army. It's a super fun army to paint. The sculptors at GW did an amazing job at delivering to us what we've waited for so long. Every model in this army was honestly fun. And here's the greatest proof point of that. I finished up that king this last Saturday, okay? And the next day I got out my remaining Keeper of Secrets I haven't finished yet, put it together, and started painting it. Like that's how addicted I am. When you go to excess, go all the way.
You can't stop ecstasy, folks. Now, you heard it here first. Vince Venturella, #1 painter in the whole world. Prove me wrong, fight me otherwise. And we are back. I've got Tanya Schreibe here with me from the last game that we just got to see. Hey, Tanya, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
So, that game was really tight, and it really came down to all the way to the last turn, and we were sitting there biting our nails trying to figure out what was going to happen. And I'm wondering, for you, what were a couple things that caught you off guard or surprised you with how the matchups turned out and how it all swung out in the end?
I mean, just charging into those Griffins and them having a great save and not being able to really hit them, which, dice are dice, but that was kind of a surprise. The shooting was powerful, which I knew it would be, but it just proved itself tenfold. So I think those were kind of the biggest surprises there. And just the Prime came down. The Prime did what he does best, which is not something you get to see very often anymore. A lot of times Prime stays up a long time, comes down, tends to not do as much as he should. So it's kind of nice to see that.
Definitely. Now, one thing that was pretty funny about your guys' games is your objective, your scheme, or your subterfuge, your hootenanny, if you will, was to stop the witch hunter from being killed. And it turned out that Thomas's goal was to stop the witch hunter from being killed. How did you feel in the moment where you found out that your goal and his goal were perfectly aligned?
It's just an amazing feeling because I was kind of wondering. He wasn't moving him a lot. I'm thinking maybe he has something like this going on, but I'm just not even going to question it. We're just going to let it be because I'm going to achieve my secondary, and that's what I need. So finding out, that was just awesome. I think we laughed, high five. It was great. And I mean, that guy needs a name. I don't have a good name for him, but he needs a name.
Yeah, we'll have a name for this witch hunter by the end of the weekend for sure. Now, Thomas's army is a little bit distracting because he keeps putting down things that aren't actually models. How did you feel playing against such a bright and colorful army that a lot of what was so interesting and eye-grabbing had nothing to do with the game?
That was the coolest thing. No one I've ever played against has done anything like that. So it was really cool. It gave a great visual to the game, and it really sold it. And I've never had a game have that great visual. I mean, it's awesome.
Absolutely. It makes it so immersive. So thank you so much for coming on, Tanya. If you want to find Tanya on Twitter, you can find her at Dark Elf Sorceress. Is that right?
Yeah.
Outstanding. And now we're going to get Tom to come over and talk a little bit about his army. Thank you so much, Tanya. Thomas, get your butt over here. How's it going, man?
Going all right.
Congratulations on the win. That was a tight one.
I know. It was super
So
close.
it really came down to the last turn to see who could kill what. And I'm curious what caught you off guard or surprised you in terms of some of those matchups that swung the game your way.
I was really surprised. Well, let's just say the Terror guys are pretty much took me by surprise because it wiped out both my generals and generals on Griffin the second turn. So I wasn't able to counterattack. But yeah, I mean that was pretty much the biggest thing because I thought she was going to essentially come to the back line and then just wipe out my army from that side.
Absolutely. Now we had a lot of chatter on the chat about the LED work that you did with your army. It's a really great display. I don't know if we're going to be able to get a visual of it or not, but can you talk me through sort of what steps you took in customizing all the LEDs in the army, because that was a really big selling point for all the people in the chat.
Oh yeah, for sure. So the shots fired for the handgunners, that's actually a Warlord Games kit. It's essentially just like a little device that has LEDs that have different shot patterns. So it's essentially just putting the wool on it and then mocking up to match the bases. The fire flames and whatnot, that was a little more difficult. Those are essentially 3 LEDs with resistors that blink at different times with a 9-volt battery powering it and an on and off switch. And then the outside is just essentially just cotton over top of chicken wire with a black airbrush over the top of it.
Okay, and then what about the Celestant?
The Celestant Prime was a little more difficult. There's actually a board plus a lithium battery and an on-off switch with 5 LEDs, so that one was a little more difficult. I actually found it on an Instructables, so there's actually some coding that had to be done to get the flash patterns and stuff, and I'm not familiar with C++, so it was just God meant it to be, because it was a very difficult build to get it to work.
I gotta say, I think you're being way too humble. I would give you a way better grade than a C++. I'd give it at least an A, if not an A+. And so I think you did a really great job. Now, can we find this content online somewhere? Do you have a Twitter, or do you post any of this anywhere that people can see it and learn a little bit about your process?
I mean, I could post it on Twitter. I mean, that's about the only social media that I have. But I mean, if you just Google essentially Fire Flames, Lightning Cloud, or skirmish LEDs, you should be able to find it.
Sounds good. What is your Twitter handle so we can follow you on Twitter?
It is Marienburg Free Guild at Marienburg Free Guild.
That's a pretty long one. We'll have to put it up in the notes or something like that. So a lot of people who come here are sort of seasoned tournament gamers. They go to a lot of tournaments, and you sort of just come to Nashcon. It's the one that's close. You live here. Do you have any expectations or goals for this tournament going forward?
I mean, it's really just having a good time. I mean, I know my army's pretty middle tier, especially with some of the more experienced tournament gamers that are out there. I mean, they obviously can figure out my weakness. So it's just really just having a good time, just showing what I've worked on the past 6 months, and then just essentially just kind of just people acknowledging the work that I put into it and enjoying everyone else's work that they put into their armies and display boards.
Terrific. Well, thanks so much for coming on. Congrats on the win. Good work. The real American heroes.
The real. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview with Vince. It was great to get him on. No sound, boys. Hello, and we are back.
We are back?
Yeah, thank you. Wicked game, really fun. Shooting, is it the answer to monsters? Maybe. We'll ask that question again and again over the weekend. Thank you for joining us. Big shout out to John and Colin for doing the work. I want to say thank you. Thank you to Jacob. He's been awesome.
They're the real heroes here.
Yeah, you've been awesome. And you guys are also great. Thank you very much for joining us.
So much.
Join us for the rest. Also, it seems like a really great event. So if you ever get the opportunity to come to Nashville.
Default thinks I'm pretty.
You are. Then we'll.
This is actually Tomb King Tristan's trying to talk trash about what I'm drinking. This is actually a lie, a real set prop from Game of Thrones. I'm a historical reenactor, and
Nice.
I like to LARP.
Nice.
Don't at me.
We're going to go. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. You can see the schedule on the screen on Twitch. We'll put it up on our socials. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys soon. Have a great day.
Be good, y'all.
Goodbye, but not forever.
Yay!